We're answering questions we received from you, our viewers. If you have a question, visit our website, QuranSpeaks.com. Dr. Shabir, here is a question. Is punishment in hell eternal or finite?
So this is a question that is very seldom discussed by Muslim scholars, but it's a very important question.
Why do you think it's important?
Well, for some people, it's and I lived with this for many years. The simplistic view is okay. You do good, you go to paradise, and that is forever. You do bad, you go to hellfire, and you're going to be punished there forever and ever. And it's a no-brainer. You just do good, you go to paradise, right? So it helps to think that hell is going to be forever. If you think that, okay, well, eventually you'll be out of there, you might be more inclined to try a sin because you're thinking, okay, it can't be that bad because it's not going to be forever. Mm-hmm. Though we always emphasize that the punishments we're talking about in hell, these are very severe, and nobody wants to be in there for a moment. So don't take sins lightly. But now, if we take this simplistic view, like some people are motivated by that simplistic view, do good, go to paradise forever, do bad, go to hell forever, no-brainer, do good. But some people are thinking from a philosophical point of view, and they're looking at that and they're saying, okay, what does that mean for God? Like your image of God is somebody who has this thing called hell, and he's going to put people in there, and he's going to watch them burn forever and ever and ever and ever. So, like, what does that mean for God? And then you say that God is kind and merciful. So, how is His kindness and mercy being expressed in that situation? So this calls for an answer. And in dealing with this question, I found that there are many reasons for thinking that to say that hell is forever is not a good idea. And I was relieved to find that there are some Muslim scholars in our history, some important scholars, who actually said that hell will not be forever. Most notable in this regard is Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawziyah. He was a famous student of Ibn Taymiyyah, who is widely regarded by many as Shaykh al-Islam. This is a title that he has been awarded by the populace, the scholar of Islam. Not just a scholar, but a scholar of scholars. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of course he was well known for many of his writings, large collections of fatwas or verdicts that he has given. Just his collection of fatwas is this wide on a bookshelf, mm-hmm. filling an entire shelf. His student, Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawziyah, is also quite accomplished and very well respected. He wrote a book called Hadi al-Arwah ila Bilad al-Afrah, the guide for the souls to the lands of happiness. In that book, he addresses the question as to whether paradise and hell will remain forever, and he gives the various views of Muslim scholars about this. So when it comes to hell in particular, he adopts the position, and he says that this was the position of his teacher as well, that hell will not be forever. And how does he arrive at this? Well, he first gives the arguments of those who say that it will be forever, and then he rebuts those arguments by giving counter arguments. And then he gives some 25 points to show the difference between paradise and hell on this question. Mm-hmm. So paradise has to be forever, but hell, no, not forever, because there's a difference between the two. So what are the main points that others will use to say that hell is forever? Well, a big trump card for them is that there are passages in the Quran that say that people will go to hell and they will, khalidina fiha, they mm-hmm. will be in hell forever. And like khalidin means they will
kind of
abide
reside
therein.
Yeah.
It's
mm-hmm.
like it
Stay
seems
there.
to be like a non-ending.
Mm-hmm.
And there's even the mention of abada sometimes, like they will be in there forever. Mm-hmm. So this seems so very clear and literal. But Ibn al-Qayyim's answer to that is that yes, but within the context, like when we say that something is going to be forever, but we mean forever. Like somebody saying, this thing is taking forever. Now, we know within the context, it doesn't mean forever in the philosophical sense. It just means it's taking too long, right? Mm-hmm. Somebody says, this is taking forever. Like it's taking forever to download this movie, right? We know it's going to be only a few minutes, but somebody says it's taking forever. They mean few minutes.
But do you think God would use language so imprecisely?
Well, what Ibn Qayyim's point precisely is that language is used like within a certain context. So when it is known, when there are good reasons for thinking that hell will be temporary, when it says that the people will be thrown into hell and they will remain therein, it means for the duration of hell. So as long as hell remains. But if God extinguishes hell, like he brings it to nothing, then the hell does not remain. But as long as it remains, people will remain therein. So, for example, a paradise, this is the expression of God's mercy. And according to Ibn al-Qayyim, God's mercy is something like inherent in God. This is not due to anything external to him. This is just how God is. But God's anger is not so much inherent in God. It is due to something else that is outside of God. It's due to the sins of people. So God's anger is expressed as hell. And it is the sins of people who cause the hell to be expressed. Otherwise, there's nothing in God that says I have to have a hell. So the hell then will be that expression of God's anger dealing with the sin, but the mercy overpowers the anger, according to a well-known hadith. And even the Quranic statement about this says that God's mercy is overpowering. So from this perspective, it is easy to conceive that the paradise will remain forever, but the hell is not going to remain forever. It's going to be there for a certain cause. Now, what God does is for a certain purpose, for good purposes. And the paradise is for the good purpose of expressing the mercy of God to people. Hell is for the good purpose of showing the anger of God, but the anger of God is not going to be forever. Like God is not going to be forever angry because some people sin in this world, right? And we already understand this in a general way because believers say, Muslims widely accept that if a Muslim happens to fall into hell due to our sins, for which God does not forgive us, and we do ask for his forgiveness, but certainly we need that. But let's say people sin and God does not forgive them, either because they didn't ask for forgiveness or or for whatever reason. So then their punishment in hell will be only temporary. This is believers we're talking about now. There's wide agreement on this, that the believers will eventually be taken out from hell and they'll be put into paradise. So those who want to insist that hell will be forever, they say that the non-believers will remain there and to perish forever. But now, we can understand from the idea that the believers will be taken out, that the purpose for which they were put into hell is fulfilled. That hell becomes a kind of purification place. They say almost it's like, some metals have to be put into fire in order to purify the metal. So when the metal is purified, it's taken out of the fire. So the believer will be put in there to be purified of his or her sins, taken out of hell, put into paradise. So the hell serves as a purification. Now, what about the non-Muslims? So the non-believers, non-Muslim is not the right term, because I don't want to give the impression that non-Muslim automatically go to hell. But let's say the rebellious, ingrate person who has opposed God, and that person is now in hell. So what purpose will it serve for God to keep this person in hell forever? It's not going to serve any purpose. So when it has served the purpose of either purifying people who can be purified, or expressing the anger of God until that subsides, then there is no need for the hell to remain, and God will cause it to come to nothing.
So these are mostly like arguments from reason, right? They're not from the plain reading text of the Quran. So how have other scholars viewed Ibn Qayyim's arguments?
Well, generally, this position is not being highlighted.
Okay.
I remember mentioning this in a conference where there were scholars who are of the traditional bent, who will tend to take things literally, and I clearly mentioned that this is a minority position. It's not a majority position. Most scholars have not arrived at this same position.
Okay.
So it is, you can say it's a minority view. But it is a view that was held by some important scholars, such as Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawziyah. So the moderator was careful to say after my speech, he did say that this was a minority view. So to let everyone know, don't follow this minority view, just stick with the majority view. Of course, people feel more comfortable following a majority view because the majority view for them, seems to be backed by many scholars, and the many cannot be wrong. Perhaps the one person or a few persons are wrong. But I mentioned this minority view because there are people out there who are thinking philosophically. And for them, it's not going to make sense, and they're not going to find God attractive if you tell them that God has this place that He's going to in which He's going to torture people forever and ever. So the idea that hell is temporary is more compatible with the view that God is merciful and kind and full of clemency and compassion for human beings.
Thank you for that, Dr. Shabir.
You're welcome. You can change someone's life this Ramadan. Donate as much or as little as you can and be part of our project.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Give me a 7 up in the chat if I can be heard, family. Give me a 7 up in the chat if I can be heard. Ooh wee, ooh wee. Ooh wee, ooh wee. That's supposed to be a Muslim scholar. You dig? As you see, he holds a minority view. Most contemporary or most call it Orthodox Muslims believe that hell punishment or hellfire is forever. You dig? So I'll be going to show them things, man. Like certain things that's on the table need to be more, I say, visited more, because trip off this. We all know we are going to die. That's a journey that we all have to take. You know what I mean? So that's one of the biggest questions that has always been on my mind. Like, what happens once you transition and cross over? What is the reality? What is the awareness? All right. Now, as you see, we've been going over system and order of the spirit world, even if you don't agree with what we're saying. And that's fine. You don't have to agree with us or agree with what's being brought out, but at least you're aware of it. You dig? You ain't got to believe me that, down the block, they over there chopping heads off. But when you get about, you get about 50 feet or 100 feet out, you're going to be like, dang, what bro was saying was right. At least you aware, because you'll see somebody with a machete chopping heads off. And then you'll have the mercy to what? Hold on, let me go the other way. You see what I'm saying? So you ain't got to believe what's being brought out. The whole point is to make you aware. Once you aware, you can't unring the bell. Like, you can't unhear something. You dig? But that awareness is for your benefit. So when you cross over, you'll see things that are familiar to you. You feel me? Because just like it's active in physical, just like it's active in the flesh, is way more active in spirit. Scandalous spirits, murderous spirits, vengeful spirits, angry spirits, comedian spirits. There's all type of, you feel me? There's all type of spirits of the dead. But if you have no type of understanding of what's happening, what to look for, you understand what to look out for, and you're gonna be duped easily. You feel me? And that's why in dealing with most religions and the majority of religions, if not all, when you get to talking about the afterlife and all that, is real vague. There's really no system and order that's even brought up. There's no system and order that's even brought up. You feel me? So you really don't know when it comes down to what happens when you die. We really don't know. Because the spiritual books that we have is what? Is vague. You really don't know. If somebody asks you, what we going to be doing in heaven? Since you believe you go to heaven, right? Well, what are we going to be doing there? Chapter and verse me. Well, we see our loved ones. Chapter and verse me. Like, we should be, and that's what I was saying about the video we just watched. That's a Muslim scholar, but notice he wasn't even in the Quran. You see? Once you realize, like, where are you at, knowing that the majority of your spiritual texts in this earth have not revealed a system and order of the spirit world, and that's where you're going. Huh? I mean, you have no itinerary. I'm about to go out of town and do what? What you plan on doing while you at Virginia Beach? What you plan on doing while you in Miami? So you own it. Look, we all on this same path to the same destination, but what you gonna be doing when you get there? You don't even know. What's your itinerary? Oh, it say okay, damn. Let's say I'm saying holy, holy, holy all day. Oh, damn, I may have some slaves. Dang. In Islam, I'm gonna have like 72 virgins and all the goat milk I can drink. It's real vague. It's real vague. Don't. What's the deal when the spiritual text really ain't telling you nothing about where you're going? And y'all know how many lives been lost over there? You know how many religious wars been fought over? Judgment Day, hell, heaven, paradise. Who is it for? But if you ask a Muslim, chapter and verse me with Quran, what are we going to be doing when we get to y'all version of heaven? What are we going to be doing? Yeah. If you hold it to chapter and verse, that conversation going to be over real quick. Ask somebody in the Bible, same thing. Or ask somebody who don't deal with New Testament, deal with Tanakh and Torah only. Hey, so what we going to be doing in the kingdom of heaven? Real vague. Real vague. But trip off that. You don't find that troubling? The destination we all going, none of us know anything about the order of it, the system of it. How does it function? What are we going to be doing? That should be troubling to damn near to everybody. But what's troubling to everybody today is a rape, child murder, and woman mutilation. That's what's on the table today. Yeah. We looking bad. I heard on the table today. And what's a hot topic in Israel is, does the God of the Bible condone biblical rape or condone rape, child murder, bashing infants' heads against skulls, or infant skulls, my bad, against the walls, right? And woman mutilation. If a woman saw her man getting the brakes whooped off of him, you know what I mean? She can't run over there and kick old boy in the nuts to get him up off her man. If so, her foot get cut off or her hand get cut off. You know what I mean? But these are the topics. You ain't got on fringes. These are the topics. These the topics that are hot fire in Israel. You ain't got on no fringes. Nigga, you just went and trimmed your whiskers. You got a haircut. Rape. Infant murder. Woman mutilation. So it shouldn't be hard to tell y'all what a light is. You know what I mean? So let the religious devotees devour one another. They making our job easier. Go ahead. That way everybody can see, yeah, that's mad. That's a big mess over there. That's a big mess over there. Because everybody in her, including the people on the affirmative or the negative side of rape, infant murder, child mutilation, or woman mutilation, know good and well if that happened to any one of y'all, woman or child, or even you, you know, it'd be World War III in these streets, man. Stop that. Hell is you talking about? What you even talking about? You already know how the real ones got to slide if something like that go down. The hell you mean? Oh, okay, because it's written. Yeah. We understand that. I know you can read. I'm pretty sure a majority of the people that listen know how to read. You dig? But we all know when we hear something like that happening, it cringes our spirit because we all know that shit wrong, man. You know that shit wrong, man. Ain't nobody got it. I don't care where it say it at. I don't care if it said it in your favorite book. I don't care if it said it in the newspaper. I don't care if it said it in Bible, Quran, Torah, wherever you going to point and justify that evil shit. Nigga, that shit off. period. It's evil. And how you know it's evil, just ask them, if that's done to your daughter, what you gonna do? Is it righteous or evil? Is that God's judgment? You see, we got to get past the point of worshiping books, man. That's all niggas do. You worship a book. And so if you stuck in worship to a book, and then when the book comes with something crazy, now you bound to it. Now you backpedaling and trying to explain something ancient and try to make it make sense in the norm, when in your spirit, the fact that you fumigating at the mouth like that proves you know this shit is off, nigga. Why you got to go to 100 precepts to try to prove biblical rape? Rape is wrong, ain't it? Rape is evil, ain't it? Heard nothing about you licking your fingers and twisting your mouth and running over the 100 precepts. Nigga, what is we even talking about her? What is we even talking about her? No, the reason you got to run around there and be an apologetic or a defender of the faith, an apologist, an apologetic, is because you know what's some fuck shit in the water. Let me let y'all in on a little something. Being a religious devotee or in service to a false god makes you an apologetic by nature. It forces you to defend some bullshit when you know you just heard something, so you got to run and try to find 100 different precepts to justify and try to explain today what was written 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, even 4,000 years ago. See? Serving a false god makes you an apologetic. You got to run out there and try to defend it and try to make it understand, or make the understanding opposite of what's written. I'm gonna hit y'all with something. Ahura wouldn't even be able to run around here and talk that shit if it wasn't in the Bible. He wouldn't even be able to run around here and talk that shit about rape and infant murder and woman mutilation if it wasn't in the Bible. What is y'all talking about? It's like, right, it comes down to the understanding, right? So now you got the apologetics, or the Hebrew apologists, got to come out here and try to clean up what he's obviously reading in the Bible. You dig? That's in there. It's just people want to explain it away. You dig? Our problem is, nigga, just because it's written in there, what that mean? You cool with that? When you know everything within, you know that's wrong. And if it happened to one of yours, you know good and well, bro, it's World War III in these streets. So the fact that it's written down ain't sufficient enough. So what? Nigga, your spirit got hit when you heard that. That's evil. So it's supposed to be a debate tomorrow between Ahura and Zion Lex. It should be interesting, but again, they ain't doing nothing but making our job easier. All right, when you're done talking, y'all supposed to be worshiping the same God or deity. Y'all about to go to the same scriptures and go to the same Hebrew words. One going to try to explain it away. The other one is going to try to make it literally say what it says. And in the end, I'm going to say this. We couldn't even talk about rape if it wasn't even in there. So now that you know that's what it is, now you got a decision to make. Hold on. Even if that was the case, you understand? Do I believe the all-powerful, all-knowing, omnipotent creator ordains rape? I don't give a hell where it's written at. If it was written in OWASP, I wouldn't believe it. If it was written in Bible, I ain't going to believe it. I don't care where it's written at, because it violates and goes against everything I know to be true. You see? One side is like, yeah, it said, I'm standing on. The other side is like, it do say it, but what it says, it don't mean that. It don't mean that. You feel me? Over here, we talking about system and order, the spirit world. We telling you what, since we going somewhere, right? So say me and you, Raz, so say we flying somewhere on a plane. All right, MALAKIMAC, we about to go to whatchamacallit, right? We about to go to, we about to go to Belize, whatever. Okay, bet, bang. All right, so what's the plans when we get there? Oh, shit, I don't know. So you got to ask everybody else on this plane. Man, you turn around and get to asking everybody to your right and to your left, and you ask everybody on this plane what we doing when we get to where we going, and don't nobody know. Or They claim to know, but it's real vague. Or we're going to be listening to Michael Jackson music the whole time. It's vague, ain't it? So look, it should be obvious where the light at, man. You know, I see creative gang in the building. Bless up, fam. Bless up, bless up. I see everybody in the building. One love. All right, so we about to get into this. All right, in the time when everybody talking about darkness, low hanging fruit, whether you finna rape it in warfare or, you know, should a woman hand be chopped off for stopping a man from whooping the brakes off her husband? You dig? Or infant murder. Or you ain't got your fringes on, so you're going to burn, get your chestnuts going to roast forever. Right? That's all that's on the table. But we over here talking about system and order, something we all need to know. We're here to talk about what you're going to be doing when you get to where you're going. All right? So it should be obvious where it's at. So let's get into this. Let's get into this. All right, I don't know what's going on. It's acting like my camera tripping. I believe I can still share. So for y'all that don't know, we reading out of the book of Sky, Earth, Spirit, OISP. All right. The book that got everybody, all the false gods fumigating at the mouth. But this is where we at with it. All right. And look, please stop me when you hear some evil, wicked, satanic, or any of that. See, we talking about what's beneficial to you right now and when you cross over. To you brothers and sisters, cross over armed with a certain understanding and knowledge, because you're going to be aware, you're going to be conscious. It's just a different level of consciousness. You understand? That's it. As you continue to grow and advance, you know what I mean? Get better and rise up through different ranks in the heavenly kingdoms and all that. You understand? And it's still the same rules that apply for the earth, apply for the heavens of the earth and beyond. You understand? The way to higher resurrections is righteous work done unto others. Remove every idol out your heart and love your neighbor as if your neighbor is you. Righteous work. That's what it is. And look, all the ones who had the light of the Creator, that's what they taught. Every last one of them, from ancient times all the way up to Yahshua. And even further. You know what I mean? Down to where we at today. It's the same thing. Right? None but the Creator. Right? Love your neighbors yourself. All right? And should Nam, fumigating, slanderous jaw Negro have a problem with what I just said? But you do got a problem. Some of y'all probably spilt your coffee. Some of y'all call yourself cursing us. To no avail. All right, this is what we reading out of right here. OISP, practical guidebook to the spirit life, to the spiritual life. All right, you have a corporeal or a physical body and a spiritual body. Hear me and I will open your understanding. I come to free not only the corporeal man or the physical man, but the spiritual man. So we talking about freedom, liberation. Why would anybody that twist their mouth and call themselves a descendant of an ex-slave be offended at what we read? We talking about freedom on every level, from your physical freedom, to your spiritual freedom, because majority of the world is in spiritual bondage to false deities and gods, even those that claim they got the truth. Don't even know it. That's what we over here reading, right? We getting down with the real matter. Look at this. Yet with your freedom, you also attain to responsibility. So that sooner or later, your fidelity to your Creator and to your fellow man in righteousness, love, and good works shall become the most sacred study of your life. Look at that, y'all. You see what this is about? Simple. I mean, somebody swinging around in a loincloth in the middle of the Amazon can apply the same system and order and be in the same good graces with your Creator, our Creator, as you. See, the whole system and order is universal. So now I guess what we eliminate? Racism, you dig, prejudice, tribal warfare, all they get eliminated. Exclusivity. God only heard me and nobody else. That eliminates all that. That eliminates all that. You hear that? You feel that? Dang, look at this right here. Let's keep reading. Most sacred study of your life is your fidelity to your creator and to your fellow man. And righteousness, love, and good works shall become the most sacred study of your life. Your God does not come in this era as a dictator. Check in. Yeah. Check in with your bruh, huh? Your God does not come in this era as a dictator, but as your elder brother with ample experience. Salute the righteous gods, man. You dig? Hey, whether you're mortal, whether you in the flesh, or whether you ain't in the flesh, salute, elder brother with ample experience. Nor do I command, saying you shall believe because I, your God, have said it, or revealed it in this book. So that destroys, thus saith the Lord. Believe it just because it say it. You got to know a thing. You got to test that. You got to prove that. Yeah. Life is a classroom. You ain't know that? You ain't figured it out yet? Look at this. Nevertheless, through a speed, light of the creator is revealed to man. And man is to judge himself. Look at that. And labor, work to save himself. So that by this he may have honor and glory. Yeah, you supposed to have honor and glory. You just not to be worshipped. Yeah, your salvation is in your own hands. Wow. No. You can't throw that on the blood of Jesus. Right? It's all on you. Your rise and your fall is all on you. Right? And the system and order I just read is something everybody from Wall Street to somebody in the Amazon swinging through the Amazon in a loincloth. Everybody can apply it. No matter what your ethnic proclivity is, no matter what your skin color is, no matter what your financial situation, your economic situation, your health, no matter where you at, you can apply it. You see? So we're all loving, all powerful, omnipotent creator, right? The service to that creator would have to be universal, and anybody should and would be able to apply it, no matter what position they are in life. Look at this. It's all on you. Look at this. For the will of the creator is not for man to be forever led. Yeah, like the will of the creator is not for you to be in sippy cup mode your whole damn life, boy. Or your whole blessed life. Let me not say that. Your whole blessed life, boy. You eventually you got to take the training wheels off, don't you? Eventually you got to put your big boy pants on, right? Yeah. You ain't nah. You ain't supposed to be in sippy cup mode your whole life, man. You're supposed to be advancing, progressing, getting better. You know what I mean? Being more responsible, because remember, you're free. But with freedom and liberty come responsibility. It's on you. It's on you. You can ask the creator to guide you in wisdom and love and, righteousness, good works. You did. Guide you, as you get up and work on the resurrection of others and your salvation and all that. That's the creator to guide you. Right? But this whole thing is for you to get honor and glory. For the will of the creator is not for man to be forever led, but for man to ultimately, y'all see the goal? But for man to ultimately have the light of practicing good works from a short legger up, from infancy up. Hey, y'all holler at me. Y'all haven't heard something evil yet? If you heard something evil thus far, put a 1 in the chat. If you ain't heard nothing evil, but you heard something that's starting to resonate with you, put a 2 in the chat. Bless up. Let's work. It ain't nothing to it over here. You did. We love to do what we do. You did. My brothers and sisters are active. Like, we outside with you. We ain't hiding wisdom. We ain't hiding nothing we talking about. Right outside, you dig, in your face. Clearing the block. OSB is a primary. What kind of source is it? It's a primary. Meaning it's not a third or secondary source. It's not something that was, it's directly from the source or the spirit world right into what you have tangible. So it's a primary source for the spiritual and practical enlightenment and development of individuals, groups, and humanity for their glory and happiness and for the glory of the whole. Look at that. System and order. We read all the time, right? About order. Got to keep order. 1 Corinthians 14:40. Order, order, order. And we come and show you an exact order and an exact itinerary of what's going to be going on. You know what I mean? And again, regardless if you believe it or not, at least you're aware now, right? You thank us later for that. Thank us later, like, man, right on, man. I was show one of your arch nemesis. One of them videos I listened to made all the sense in the world. I just couldn't tell you. It did, but it prepared me for where I was going. It's all good. In the words of the Creator, Yahweh, Jehovah, or Jehovah, and his angel ambassadors. Being a Cosmon Bible containing the history of the dominions of the higher and lower heavens on the earth for the past 25,000 years. That just blew the biblical timeline out the water by 5. Because of, you know what I mean? Like according to them, it's the year 5783. All right. So we talking about 25,000 years ago and beyond. So you're dealing with more history in here than what Bible will ever tell you, because every chronology or biblical scholar tell you that the creation went down in 3761 BC. Y'all, that ain't even 6,000 years ago. And here come a wasp telling you this is a history of the dominions of the higher and lower heavens on the earth for the past 25,000 years. So you can't talk about what you don't know. We're going to talk about what you don't know. Look at this. Being from the submersion of the continent of Pan in the Pacific Ocean, commonly called the flood or deluge. That's where the flood went down. So it's giving you something you can go look at. You know what I mean? Once you understand that, okay, a continent was sunk in the Pacific Ocean, and that's what caused the great flood everybody talk about. The Ark of Noah, right? Well, that's a time period. That's a time period. Right? Time is measured in arc cycles. The Ark of Noah went down 25,000 years ago. It was a 3,000 year time period or cycle in which the flood happened. The sinking of the continent of Pan is in the this is saying is in the Pacific Ocean. So if we go and look at the Pacific Ocean, should we find any type of evidence? Will we find any type of evidence of a sunken continent? You see? See, we can run our mouth outside about a wasp and how evil it is, but when it says something and then we can go look and verify it in real time, you got to go sit your monkey ass down somewhere. Then. Go sit down. What you thought you had, you don't have. And this is what I mean by that. Let's go look at the Pacific Ocean real quick. Show you what I'm talking about. Let's just go look at it. Feel me? Now let's go see what's really going on. Because Owaspy is making a boast that a continent was sunk in the Pacific Ocean 25,000 years ago. Okay? It ain't MALAKIMAC making the claim, right? Owaspy is saying it. So if it says something, I'm a curious spirit. Now I got to go look and see, is there any evidence of a sunken continent in the Pacific Ocean? There should be some type of evidence, right? Should be some type of evidence. So let's go see what we got. Right? That's all you got to do is just okay, it say something, I want to go prove it wrong. And then get on your good foot and go prove it wrong. You dig? But then when you look up and start saying, dang, that was actually true, you got to be real with yourself at that point. And come on home and holler at us. You dig? Come on home and holler at us. Now look at this right here. Let's go show then. Let's go see, is there any evidence of a sunken continent in the Pacific Ocean? Everybody else saying it went, you know what I mean, it went down somewhere else, like in the, what you call the Middle East today. Everybody else saying. This is what's called today the Ring of Fire. Okay, y'all, that's the Pacific Ocean. And that sunken continent, that's the activity to this very day. You dig? Right there in the Pacific Ocean. It's called the Ring of Fire. You dig? The ocean floor is the top of the continent of what's called pond. It's sunken. And when that continent sunk is when the flood happened. You dig? And the ships of Ham, Shem, and Japheth, and a couple other ships, you dig, carrying more than just 8 people, y'all. It's thousands of people, you dig, dispersed. And came into them, and where they landed became the land of Ham, became the land of Shem, became the lands of Japheth, of China, and all that. You dig? But there used to be a continent right there called Pan. And it's crazy. We grew up learning about a place called Pangea, a Pan. You got a country today called Japan, a Japan, right? Which reportedly was like the northwest corner of it. Japan is a remnant of the continent of Pan today, right? The only living remnants of that right there above water is what you know today is the country of Japan or Pan. That right there, that was a continent 25,000 years ago. You see? So we can say something and then pull it up in real time to where you can look at it. So at that point, you got to make a decision. It ain't for me to hold your hand through that and make a decision. Ask yourself, why is it high volcanic activity all in the Pacific Ocean? And when we look at it from above, it looked like a landmass used to be there. Look at it. I caught chills when I first tripped off that. I say, hold on, the sinking of the continent of Pacific. Let me go. Hold on. They got movies like Pacific Rim and Ring of Fire. And hold on, bro. Let me go look at this. Man, when I looked at this and hit images, when I tell y'all, I caught chills like good night, boy. Good. So what else explains the high volcanic activity? Touching damn near every continent from the Pacific Ocean. And when you trace it, it looks like the boundaries of what? A huge landmass. A huge landmass. Huh? According to OASP, when this continent was sunk, which is the floor, the top of the continent is the floor of the Pacific Ocean today. When this continent was sunk, the waters raised up, and that's where the flood happened. And that's where ships are, not one boat, ships, plural, with thousands of people spread out. But y'all, this went down 25,000 years ago. Remember, biblical chronology tells you that the world was created in 3761 BC. So when was Adam? That ain't even 6,000. That's 5,783 years ago. So when was the flood? So when was the flood of Noah? When was Noah's Ark built then? If Adam was created in 3761 BC, when was Adam? When was Noah? See, that means the flood had to go down 4,000 years ago. Stop it, man. Stop it. That means the flood was close to 2000 BC, y'all. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. But when 25,000 years ago is when the flood went down. And it happened from the Pacific Ocean. It started with the sinking of the continent of Pan. How can I prove that? Well, just type in Ring of Fire, Pacific Ocean, go to images and look up, and where the high volcanic activity is where that landmass used to be at. And for anybody to think it's a game, why y'all think they still came up with sunken like stuff like Atlantis and Lemuria? See, they still talking like there's evidence of sunken continents all over this earth, right? OASP is calling it Pan, and it's saying it went down here, right here in the Pacific Ocean, 25,000 years ago. Let me show y'all the Ark of Noah on the timetables of prophecy. We pull it right out and show you. We got the receipts. We got the receipts, man. Shout out to the creative game, man. Y'all better tap on in with the bros. Go on, SHALOM, like, subscribe, share. Cosmon Cal TV, like, subscribe, share. Daryl needs to get him a YouTube, but he on Facebook, Daryl Cosmon. Like, subscribe, share. Ahura Lifestyles, like, subscribe, share. You feel me? Intuitive Goat, like, subscribe, share. Like, Creative Gang, we out here. Creative Gang TV, like, subscribe, share. The Brian Job Report, Like, subscribe, share, like all that's gang. That's all us. Let me show y'all this right here. Shout out to my brother Cal P sent me this. Like a couple days ago, I think. I had to do the entire screen for this one. All right, I'll trip about this. So YHWH's said it went down 25,000 years ago with the beginning with the sinking of the continent of Pan in the Pacific Ocean, right? Remember we said that Noah's Ark is cosmological. It's a time period. Okay. All right. This right here is called the Timetables of Prophecy. All right. You look all the way to the right, plants created, serpents created, animals created, beast man, all that. All right. And then it gives you the time period. All right. So when you get down here, 7153 BC. You see number one? All right. It lasted 3,000. That first arc cycle lasted 3,000 years. 71,523 BC. It was called the Ark of One. That's the name of it. See, Ark of her, Ark of One. The Etherian angel or the archangel was Sathantes, and the status and rank was archangel, and that was called the first era of man created, Ions or Abel. All right, now when you get all the way down here to the Ark of Noah, now remember these are the arcs. See it right there, Ark. Ark is what time is measured in. You get all the way down here to the Ark of who? Noah. In the book of Luke, Noah is written just like this, N-O-E. So anybody think, well, don't say Noah. Noah's in the Bible. It's synonymous with Noah. It's not play the games. Okay. Now, this arc cycle right here, it was the 17th arc cycle after the creation of man. All right. Right here. It lasted 3,600 years, that arc cycle. All right. And it started 23,153 BC. Y'all see this? 25,000 years ago. It was called the Ark of Noah. The name of the high-raised angel that was over that arc cycle. That's why they call archangels, arc cycles. Noah's Ark. Arcs is what you measure time by, or units. That's what I want to say. Arcs are units by which you measure time by. So we're giving you the arc cycles right here. We're giving you the name of the arc cycle. We're giving you the name of the Etherian angel. Af was over the arc cycle of Noah. All right, and he was an Orion chief. Right, and that started the Noah's Ark, or the Ark of Noah, started in 23,000 or 23,153 BC. 23,153 BC, 25,000 years ago. Right, fifth era, flood of Pan. There it is. So we put it on the timetables for you so you can see it. So you can see it all the way down to the present era. We in the Ark of Cosmon right now. And the Etherian angel that's over this arc cycle is a sister, is a goddess by the name of Chi CV Anath Atoti. I'll probably butcher that. Please forgive me. But she's a goddess. We're in the seventh era or the present time. All right. Man becomes extinct all the way down here. All right. Shout out to the gods and the goddesses, the chiefs and the chieftainesses. See, even the sisters have a very intricate part to play in the creator's makeup. Look at this. She ain't the only goddess that ruled. She ain't ever worshipped. That's the whole thing. She's a high raised. She's a big sister of ours. Here's another goddess that ruled during what arc cycle was this? During the 12th arc cycle. The arc cycle of Sion. Sister named Phias. All right, Serpenti Armes, another sister during the 23rd arc cycle. She was an Orion chieftainess. That was during the time of Abraham, Brahma, Poe, Iwata. Yeah. We put the charts up for you. So you can see where you at. You know what I mean? Like these cats ain't even going by no timeline out here. They're just saying it. And when you start thinking about it, you be like, man, that don't even make sense. Hold on, how was that even possible? How was that even possible? All right, so let's get back to it. Watch this. Let's get back to it. All right, so we just went and showed in real time we just go show in real time. Okay, my bad, y'all. Yeah, so what we just go show in real time, right? Waspi said that the sinking of the continent of Pan or the flood was 25,000 years ago. And it went down from the Pacific Ocean. We went to the Pacific Ocean, typed in the Ring of Fire, high volcanic activity all over that deal, and where it borders looks like a landmass was right there. You got Japan that's still left out in that deal and everything, man. It's crazy. All right, so look at this. To the cosmogony era of the present time, also a brief history of the preceding years from man's beginning on earth to the flood. Being from the submersion of the continent of Pan in the Pacific Ocean, commonly called the flood or deluge, to the cosmogony era of the present time. Also a brief history of the preceding years from man's beginning on earth to the flood. Together with a synopsis of the cosmogony of the universe. Cosmogony is the study on how the universe was created. How did it happen? A synopsis of the cosmogony of the universe, the creation of planets. That probably made a lot of you flat earthers drop your spill your coffee. The creation of man, the unseen worlds, the labor and glory of gods and goddesses in the heavens of the earth and in the Etherian heavens above them. So this is what we're dealing with. All right. We in what's called OASP. All right. I just want to show that for anybody that's just not tapping in with us. You may not be familiar with what we read, but we dealing with a higher vibratorial frequency. We're not dealing with it's common sense to us. No, the creator is never sanctioned, or a true God has ever sanctioned any type of rape, child murder, or woman mutilation. Dig. That should make everybody feel good. Like, dang. You know what I mean? Dang, okay, cool. Because it always felt off to you, didn't it? All right, so we in the book of Divinity, OISP. All right, System and Order of the Spirit World, Part 3. Give me a 4 up in the chat if y'all get some understanding. I try to slow down and chop it up with the fam, you dig? Give me a 4 up in the chat if y'all get some. All right, cool. Yeah, something wrong with the camera. All right, so let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's eat. Let's chop it up a little taste. All right. Let's talk about what we gonna do when we get to where we all going. All right, can we do that? All right, can we do that? Shout out to my YAH'KI Abdiel, the mayor of the West Side of St. Louis in the building. Bless up, my brother. Bless up, bro. Glad to see you in the land of the living, big dog. Believe that. No, let's get into this book of Divinity, chapter 8. Look at that. The diva met 3 times every year in Meru and enacted many acts like those previously related. And there were so many that all the spirits in heaven and mortals on earth were foreplanned from before birth until they became brides and bridegrooms in heaven. Y'all see that? Why are you mad? Even the Bible say you're predestined for something. I'm just saying the system and order, especially dealing with, there's a rank of angels called Louis. You understand? And they're basically the spiritual matchmakers, the geneticists. You know what I mean? They're the ones that inspired your great-great-grandfather and mother to get together. You know what I mean? So you could be birthed in this day to hear what it is and receive the light of the creator. So all this is foreplanned. Like, none of this is by accident. Look at this. And heaven and earth became as one country with one king who was God, and his word ruled over all. The Lord's kingdoms prospered, as did the kingdoms of the sub-gods and the sub-goddesses. Yes, there are sisters, there are goddesses, there are chieftainesses, there are Orion chiefs. Women play a major role. Sisters play a major role in the heavenly kingdom. Shout out to the sisters, and salute to all the sisters who are goddesses in training. All right. The deal is, whether you a god or a goddess, if you down with the creator, you never worship. You don't want nobody, you don't want mankind to pray to you, sacrifice to you. You just want the brotherhood. Because as man gets better and as angels beneath you in rank get better, you can advance and move further into the creator's creation. because it's endless. It's countless worlds. You see that? Shout out to the sisters, man. I already know, like in these other religious setups, y'all be feeling like y'all in bondage. You know what I mean? What this nigga say? Nigga goddesses or don't believe. Bang, bang, bang. Yeah, a god is an immortal man. Man is a mortal god. God is just an immortal man. Same with a sister, goddess. All right. A woman is a mortal goddess. A goddess is an immortal woman. God is nothing but what you will be in time to come. You are one-time living mortal that crossed over and rose to the rank of God. You know what I mean? Boy, say no proof. Oh, okay. Oh, hold on. Sit tight for a second. Let me show you something. I'm going to show you a little something. If you're serious, then I'll continue to entertain you. If you on some fuck shit, nigga, just know I got snipers on the roof. You get tossed headlong real quick. But I want to show you something, all right? Just to be solid with you. That boy said, we ain't got no proof, y'all. Show you how we get on. The book of discipline. Let me entertain you. Just real quick. I should have read. I'm going to start reading this every time I come on. Nigga, Negroes hate women. Now look at this verse. It's called Book of Discipline, chapter 1. God reveals who he is. This fumigate Negro claims there's no proof. You see how cold OSB is? Right? I just made a claim and said that a god is just a one-time man. A goddess is a one-time woman that crossed over and rose to the rank of that. Right? He comes out and says, no proof. This how surgical OSB is. I go to a total different book in OSB. Book of Discipline, chapter 1. God reveals who he is. Sit your monkey ass down somewhere. Even the Bible say ye a God. Sit your monkey ass. Let me give you understanding real quick. God is nothing but a man. The creator is the creator of all gods. The creator was never a man. Never birthed. All right, now watch this right here. Chapter 1 and 1. This is the word from the organic heaven. Hear the words of your God, O man. I am your brother. I am your brother. I am your brother. God is the brother, not the father. Let me show you something real quick. I am your brother, risen from mortality to a holy place in heaven. Profit in my wisdom and be admonished by my love. For as I am your elder brother, so shall it be with you. 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 Y'all hear that? That's liberating. That's beautiful, man. You dig? That's beautiful. For as I am your elder brother, so shall it be with you, to rise also in time to come and look back to mortals and call them to the exalted heavens of the Almighty. To Jehovah, to Jehovah, to Yahweh, all adoration and glory forever. Amen. All life, motion, power, and things seen and unseen are by and through him. Neither is there an angel. Neither is there an angel in heaven so high, nor sufficiently wise to comprehend the Creator in his entirety, nor to see him as you see your fellow man. For he is within all, beyond and over all, being ever present in all places, doing by virtue of his presence, quickening all the living, adorable above all things. As the sun is to the light of day, so is the Creator to the understanding of all the living, upon which to contemplate, upon which to meditate, is the road of everlasting life. Road of everlasting life, rising in wisdom, love, and power forever. Boy, what you talking about? Sit your monkey ass down somewhere. Well, you ain't got nothing for this. Listen. Verse 14. Hear your God, O man, and distinguish Huh? Tell the difference. Hear your God, old man, and this thing. Now remember, God already said he your brother. He your big brother. Hear your big brother, your elder brother, old man, and distinguish then that the two, God and the Creator, God and Yahweh, God and Jehovah are not the same one. Bag drop, boy. Nor is your God more than what you shall be in time to come. Headshot, body blow, headshot, body blow. See, you never made a differentiation or made a distinguish between God and the Creator. So I'm gonna hit you with something right now. If you in the worship of any God, if you worship any God, you worship a false God. Every true God would have told you never pray to me, never worship me, never sacrifice to me. I just want your brotherhood, right? You either a servant of the Creator or you're not. The Creator is the creator of every God, including the one you worship. You see this? I'll try to tell that boy had snipers on the roof, boy. You ain't gonna skip through here and think you finna get something off. You understand? But it be the clear hatred for the sisters too, man. Like, so when you start letting these cats know, you start letting these religious devotees know, look, that woman you got in bondage, Jack, like she gonna play a major part in the heavenly kingdoms. She ain't finna be quiet, muzzled at the mouth, eating out your dog bowl, boy. You start talking about the goddesses, and how many times I gotta say they're never worshipped. The God never worshipped. But the ones that's down with the Creator, they not worshipped. And they don't want you to worship them, nor make up religions about them. Because they held to the same system in order that you held to. Love your neighbors yourself. Labor and work and raising up others. Last I read, angels were ministering servants or ministering spirits sent forth to those to assist those who shall be heirs in salvation. Yeah, they're ministering spirits. They're serving spirits. They're there to assist you on your journey. Look at this headshot. Look at this. But notice that, man. God and the Creator are not the same one, nor is your God more than what you shall be in time to come. First mortality, right? Then death, which is the first resurrection. Such are the spirits of the dead, angels dwelling with mortals upon the earth, where they abide, some for a few years, some for 100, some for 1,000 or more years. Second, angel organization in heaven and their abandonment of mortals, which is the second resurrection. As a kingdom on earth, as a king, and the king is nevertheless immortal. So in like manner, you're going to learn something today. Listen to this. So in like manner is the heavenly place of your God, the heavenly place of your God, who is your big brother, a kingdom of angels. And the chief over them is God, big brother, right? An angel also. Headshot. Bag drop. Ball game. What is we talking about, man? What are we talking about? You ain't got nothing for it. Yeah, okay. You ain't dealing with no novices. You're not dealing with somebody who just woke up, sniffed the Folgers, and thought they knew something. Look at this. Yet, nevertheless, the king. So God is an angel. These niggas are worshiping angels or men. In order to become an angel, you had to be a one-time mortal. Yet, nevertheless, the kingdom of your God embraces all the heavens of the earth. The kingdom of your God embraces all the heavens of the earth. And it is also so with all physical worlds. It ain't just the earth, y'all. I know some of y'all believe the earth is a frisbee, a stationary frisbee floating in space. And it's just the earth. You know what I mean? It's just the earth. That's not true. You know what I mean? Look at this right here. These cats is crazy. All right, look at this word. It says word, yet nevertheless the kingdom of your God embraces all the heavens of the earth, and it is also so with all physical worlds and their atmospheric heavens. A God and organic heavens belong to each and all of them. Look at this. Nor is this all, for there is a third resurrection in which the angels rise still higher in wisdom, love, and power, and are sent by your God into where Itinerary. Now, what is Itinerary? So you can see, you're going to learn something today. At the times of day and harvest points, nevertheless, there are always such angels in atmosphere being eligible for the resurrection into where Itinerary, should they so choose. For some may volunteer to stay in the atmosphere a day or more before ascending into Itinerary. So Itinerary is the heavens outside of the earth, outside of any physical world. It's the emancipated heavens. Ooh-wee. Midway between the planets and stars, the highest of all heavens, over which there are chiefs who are also gods and goddesses of still more comprehensive attributes. Therefore, this is what God is saying. Look at this. That's why you be having to tell these mealy mouth Negroes to slow down, man. You know what I mean? Slow down. You don't know what you're talking about. He just said, didn't say that man was God. Look at this. This is God talking. All right, let's go back up to the top. God reveals who he is. Verse 3, for as I am your elder brother, so shall it be with you, to rise also in time to come and look back to mortals and call them to the exalted heavens. We didn't say man. Hold on. Verse 14, you wasn't listening. Hear your God, oh man, and distinguish then that the two, God and Jehovah, are not the same one, nor is your God. Listen up. So, listening is a skill. Nor is your God more than what you shall be in time to come. What you mean it didn't say man was God? Sit your monkey ass down, man. Now look what God is saying. We're going to finish with the chapter. Then we're going to get back on topic. Entertain you real quick. You out real quick. That's easy. Look at this. Therefore, remember, this is God, your brother talking. He told you what? I'm your brother. It's going to be what I'm doing today. You're going to be doing one day to those you need to call up. You understand? He told you, I ain't nothing more than what you shall be in time to come. Now look what he's saying. Therefore, I am like any other spirit of the dead. This is what God is telling you. I am like any other spirit of the dead. A one-time man upon the earth. Headshot. Even as you are in this day. But one within the organic heavens of the earth. That said in several spots that man is God, or God is a one-time man. And God is not to be confused with the creator. You said it can't be proven. Just cleared the set with that. Let's get back to where we was at, man. Easy work. It did. You said it can't be proven. We went right there. This was no this ain't lick your finger scholarship. We ain't do the Gregory Hines. We didn't tap dance. Did I tap dance, y'all? Did I start winging my answer? Did I go all the way around with 100 precepts? No, I went right to the spot. No guesswork, no licking of the finger, right to it. You said it can't be proven. We went right there and showed it. And even in the subtitle, boy, it bodied you. Man, the creator is marvelous, man. Let's get back to the book of Divinity, man. Oh, man. You know what I mean? That's right. So my brother C-Lot, man. Y'all better watch out. I'm telling you. But these boys is not playing. We them boys. We the ones everybody don't want no smoke with. That shit sound good till you run up on a razor blade and fall into an alcohol bath, boy. It sound good. Yeah, it sound good. Everybody got a plan till they get hit. Remember that. You cats sound foolish. You ain't read YHWH'S. Sit down. You don't know what you're talking about. All right. You don't know what you're talking about. All right, Book of Divinity, chapter 8. Let's get back to it. We right at it. Like, I don't know what your boy over there leaking. You know what I mean? Check on your boy. He got his oil light on. His oil light on. Check on him. You over there leaking and oil light on. Oh, wait. Chapter 8, Divinity, OI Speed, chapter 8 and 1. Let's get to it. Look at this. The diva met 3 times every year in Meru. All right. The diva is a heavenly body of angels. It's a congress, basically. You know what I mean? Where they enact laws for mortals and angels that will assist them in their resurrection. You know what I mean? And everything from marriage ceremonies to baptismal rites to if you're allowed to see your loved ones once you cross over, all of it, man. It lets you know blow by blow the schools you're going to be going to, right? The skills you're going to be learning, all right? How to produce colors and sounds and hear over 1,000 different conversations from miles away, and not only differentiate them apart, be able to tell the manner of the person that's talking. It's like, bro, you becoming a high raised angel. You dig? And as you graduate, you become better and better to the point to where the Creator calls on you to go manage a world for an arc cycle or something. Now we reading about these angels and these arcs and the archangels and the arc cycles. That'll be you one day. But you never worship. The false gods break away from the Creator's movement and become worshipped and set up their own heavenly kingdom, then they end up falling. Crazy part is the majority of our people today, conscious Israel, are up under the inspiration of a false god. It's just what it is, man. So now that you know there's a heavenly body of angels that enacted laws to govern mankind. And there's a difference between their laws and what happens just because the Creator is ever present. These laws are called divine laws, all right? Just to bring you up, right? The diva met 3 times a year, every year in Meru, and enacted many acts like those previously related. And there were so many that all the spirits in heaven and mortals on the earth were foreplanned from before birth until they became brides and bridegrooms in heaven. And heaven and earth became as one country with one king who was God. See, now you know the difference. God is your big brother, right? See the clarity. It hit different. And his word ruled over all. The Lord's kingdoms prospered, as did the kingdoms of the sub-gods and the sub-goddesses. But now we know that a goddess is just a one-time woman who was living on the earth, or some physical world. A god is a one-time man who was living on the earth, or some physical world, right? If a god or goddess is worshipped, they're false. Look at this. Never before on earth and in her heavens had such glory manifested. And there were rites and ceremonies. Look at this. Recreation. See, we ain't in heaven all bored. We having fun. Yeah? Games and pageantry on earth. And we're in heaven. So great that one could write 1,000 books describing them and yet not have told 1/10 of it. Look at this. So after God, and like y'all, all this was going down like around 7,053 BC. So we talking from 9,000 years on in. See, we give you a time period. You know what I mean? From the Ark of Lu to the Ark of Speeder. Look at this. So after God had reigned 190 years, he descended from his heavenly place and traveled about through all the Lord's dominions and the sub-gods' dominions in the lower heavens, so that he might rejoice before the Creator in the great good works he had done. So let me go see what's going on. Let me descend a little taste and look at the fruits of my labor. Look at this. And in all the heavenly places, great rejoicing arose because God came there. And the singers made and sang hymns of rejoicing, and trumpeters and harpers proclaimed the glory of the Creator's presence. Look at this. So God had the people counted for the gods of the Etherian worlds, who are the sin receivers in the time of Dan. Dan is the time of light, or Dan is harvest time. All right, every 200 years, 400 years, 500 years. Notice he done ruled 190. So he about to creep up on a time of harvest, a resurrection, a graduation, basically. He about to creep up on that. He like 10 years away from it. All right, look at this. And the number of, so God had the people counting for the gods of the Etherian worlds, who were to send receivers in the time of Dan for the great resurrection. And the number of brides and bridegrooms to the Creator would be 16 billion. Bag drop, boy. Man, I can only imagine what that ceremony like, boy. That resurrection ceremony, You get to graduate not only from the earth, but from the atmosphere surrounding the earth into the higher heavens and other dimensions of reality and creation, man. That's tight. And it's 16 billion souls ready for this higher resurrection. You dig? This is like the third resurrection and even higher. The creator never stopped creating. I mean, look at this right here. After that, God directed his fire ship to run close to the earth so that he could survey mortals and their kingdoms. And he visited all the great nations of earth to the south, north, east, and west. And now his soul cried out with great sorrow. The great peoples of the earth were turning into the what? Celibates. Celibates. Semen retention, brothers and sisters. Man, look at it. It is. It says, and the voice of the creator came to him saying, God, my son, Hoab, why do you sorrow? And God answered. See, it's the difference between God and the creator. See, no spiritual text makes the differentiation between God and the creator of gods. Chapter and verse, show me. Show me. The majority of people, when you say God, they believe you talking about the creator. And here we come telling you, no, God is a one-time man. The creator is the most high or the ever-present. You dig? The all-powerful, the omnipotent, the all in all, the always was, is, and never shall be. You know what I mean? And the voice of the creator came to him saying, God, my son Hoab, why do you sorrow? And God answered saying, behold, the earth is not populated everywhere. The plains and mountains are not subdued. The wilderness is filled with beasts of prey. The Zarathustrians are running into the same line as the Ions. They kill nothing. They live for the soul only. And since they have learned the bondage of the lower heavens, they will not marry and beget offspring. They're like, man, look, everybody around here living like it's Woodstock, humming. Humming, and you know what I mean? Out the pastures and dang. Man, I don't even want to marry. They're like, man, it's bondage in the lower heavens, man. We ain't trying to tarry long at all. We trying to cross over and get it cracking. Again, the creator spoke to God saying, do not call down Ajah or Jah, my son. Do not fear in 10 years or in 200 years, because he had 190, right? So 10 years later will be 200. Behold, I will bring the earth into Dan, into this region of light for the purpose of resurrection, okay? And you shall bring your harvest into my emancipated worlds. So God sorrowed no more, and on his return to Meru and in the next meeting of the Diva, he propounded, if a husband and a wife have a child born to them, they both being Zarathustrians or Faithists. Remember, Zarathustrian or Faithist is synonymous. Israelite synonymous. Essene synonymous. It's all the same thing. All right. So if a husband and wife have a child born to them, they both being Zarathustrians, what then? When the members had spoken, they have decreed, they shall have rites and ceremonies so that the Ashars or the guardian angels of the order of Zarathustra may be appointed to it. What the guardian angels or Ashars do in spirit, the corporeans, the human shall do in physicality. And this was the first supplemental divine law. So we read all the time, and we've been hearing, as above, so below. Yeah, that's a divine law. That's a law that was enacted. What the Ashars do in spirit, the human shall do in corporate or physicality. And this was the first supplemental divine law, because everyone, you know what I mean, is propelled or influenced or inspired by what they can't see. You know what I mean? Look at this right here. Through the commandment of the presiding Lord, the Ashars assembled in the house of a Zarathustrian at the time of the birth of a child. Y'all heard this? I see how spiritual it is with a husband and a wife and the children that they have. You dig? You got the guardian angels for them children assembling in the house at the hour of birth, at the time of birth. The Ashars assembled in the house of a Zarathustrian at the time of the birth of a child, and these spirits baptized the child with a rod, sprinkling water on his head in the same way as when selecting victims who had been delivered out of hell. Ooh-wee. So now you know that the baptism of children Pouring water over their head with the rod is the same process that happens to any soul that gets delivered out of hell. Body blow. Body blow. Oh, we. And by inspiration, the angels induce the mortals to go through the same ceremony. Huh? Y'all see that? Can understand it. You ain't just doing something. Now you know why you're doing, spiritually speaking. It's why you do it. Because that's the same ritual that gets done for every soul that gets delivered out of hell. And by inspiration, the angels induce the mortals to go through the same ceremony, having a priest perform with the rod which had been dipped in water. They have decreed a baptized child shows it has sprung from the faithists, from the Zarathustrians, and has high possibilities inherent in it. And if it dies in infancy, it shall not be placed with the children of drugs in heaven, but in a place that will enable the parents after death to visit it with delight. This was the second supplemental divine law. So how does that feel, knowing that even your children that have died in infancy, you're still able to connect with them and link with them once you cross over, and they're not situated in the same heavenly place as the children of the drugs, those who are dark in spirit, those who are murderous in spirit. You know what I mean? Your child is in a heavenly place of delight, and once you die, you're able to link back up with your child. You know what I mean? And I know for a lot of brothers and sisters who have lost children, that right there is beyond soothing to you. Like, wow, okay. You know what I mean? Create a code. You know what I mean? Create a code. Every situation has been provided for. You know what I mean? That's so, yes, you do see your loved ones once you cross over. Chapter and verse over this way. You know what I mean? We ain't over here, left the cliff hanging, or somebody give us something to where it's real vague and all that. No, yeah. You link back up with your children, even the ones that you lost in infancy. Look at this. So it became common. On the earth for mortals to have their children baptized in infancy, so that in case of death, they could be taken to a place of delight and not fall into the power of drudges, the evil spirit. So that's where that came from. It became something common, even though the whole inspiration behind it is the same ritual that every soul go through when they get delivered out of hell. If you got some understanding, give me a 5 up in the chat. You see? So it ain't just you doing a ritual, because in every religion there's rituals, there's ceremonies, there's rites, right? But seldom is it explained what is the spiritual connotation behind what we doing. What is this? You know what I mean? We even learning about our guardian angels. You know what I mean? Last video was talking about how it's 48 guardian angels for every that watch over 192 mortals. And every moon's change, or every moon cycle, you feel me? They shift guard. You dig? So now we understand that the moon ain't just for the harvesting of crops or the signs and times on the earth. It's also the moon changes also distinguish the guardian angels changing in their shift, changing in their charge. You know what I mean? Oh, boy, it get real out here. It gets real out here. Yeah. Snipers on the roof. You know what I mean? Y'all call them mobs. I call them the snipers on the roof. That's the gang right there. So, you know what I mean? You get your ass bounced up out of here, I don't want to hear nothing. You dig? Because every last brother or sister with a wrench, you understand, got my best interest at heart. And they gang. We on the same squad. So whatever anybody got to say, it ain't no thing. But look at this. Now you learning why we do certain things, or why certain things became common, including child baptism, right? Look at this. Dear propounded. If a young man who is a Zarathustrian or a faithist, and a young woman who is also a Zarathustrian seek to marry, and both every way obedient to the Creator's law, or Amazian law, and to the Ahura Amazian law, the law of God, what shall be the rites and ceremonies of marriage for them? On this, all the members spoke, and after that, did decree. So even your marriage ceremonies, your weddings, you know what I mean, the rites and ceremonies, all that, your funeral rites and ceremonies, your baptismal rites and ceremonies, all that was set up and inspired from the spirit world. You dig? So whatever religious rite and ceremony you involve yourself in is supposed to be a spirit connotation or a spiritual connection to it. A lot of us are just doing things because that's what our parents taught us, and that's what their parents taught them, not knowing there's a whole spiritual connection behind it. Guardian angels and all. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Look at this. Div decree. They shall be married by a priest, a rabbah, with kin and friends present. The rabbah shall say, the creator or Maz has united you forever. Or Maz, another way, say Yahweh, Jehovah, whatever. We ain't fighting over names, right? Look at this. Or Maz has united you forever. Live in peace and love on earth. You shall dwell together in a heavenly place of delight after death. So understand that for y'all, that any of y'all that took marriage vows, all right? That ain't just right there. Y'all supposed to dwell together when you cross over. You see this? Or Maz has united you forever. Live in peace and love on earth, and you shall dwell together in a heavenly place of delight after death. What Maz has joined, no man can separate forever. And while the mortal ceremony is being performed, the Ashars and the kindred spirits shall have rites and ceremonies in the same house. Look at that. So as you going through your physical wedding ceremony, the angels are having the same ceremony. They're presiding over it. They're doing the same rites and ceremonies, man. It's crazy. Indeed. I don't know who this MELCHIZEDEK is right here. Get him out of here. You might as well go ahead and go smell your breath somewhere else, player. I don't even know you. You move out and move around. How about that? Or debate it. Like, you niggas set a debate up. We can smoke whatever false gods you got real quick. That's easy. We ain't finna let you just run your mouth. We don't even know you. Who are you? Where your body of work at? So we can go look at you. You know what I mean? A lot of these cats don't even got bodies of work. I can't go study you and look at you. See, you can go back for years and study me. Years, well over a decade and study me. And then prepare yourself for any type. I don't even know who you are. Where your body of work at? What you done did? Who know you? Yeah. I'm saying it sound good. But what you ain't finna do is be fumigating at the mouth on this platform. You dig? Debate, set a debate up, you dig? Or don't. But what we ain't finna do is let you just run your mouth. We got a class to teach. You understand? We got things to meditate on. We got major moves to make. We don't care nothing about no misfit. These niggas is weirdos, man. Straight weird. I've never even seen nothing this weird in my life. You dig? But yeah, you and whoever you roll with can get hit. Easy work. Easy work. And as you see, we ain't chasing y'all. We don't even know y'all channels. Who are y'all? Like, what you teach? Where you be at? You might even know. You know what I mean? You just a cheerleader. A misfit. So look at this, y'all. So even down to the wedding ceremonies. You know what I mean? Like, read this again. They shall be married by a rabbah and with kin and friends present. The priest or the rabbah shall say, the Creator has united you forever. Live in peace and love on earth. You shall dwell together in a heavenly place of delight after death. What the Creator has joined, no man can separate forever. And while the mortal ceremony is being performed, trip off this, the guardian angels or the Ashars and the kindred spirits shall have rites and ceremonies in the same house. Look at that. Look at that. Same house. So how powerful is that to know? While you going through your ceremonies and all that, whether it's baptismal rites, whether it's marriage ceremonies or funerary processions, right? The guardian angels and all them present. And this shall be called the beginning of a new heavenly kingdom. This was the third supplemental divine law. Besides these, 108 supplemental divine laws were passed, and they comprehended all things in the life and death of mortals, and all things pertaining to the resurrection after death. We're going to talk about where you're going. What we going to do when we get there? We all got to die, right? So what we going to do when we get there? Ask anybody and have them give you chapter and verse, and then be real with yourself and watch these last 3 videos and ask yourself, the answer you got, is it in depth and in detail like what we going over? Just be honest with yourself. Nobody telling you got to agree with us, but now you're aware of what we talking about. You know what I mean? That's it. Now you're aware. Thank us later. Look at this. And so great was the power of the Zarathustrian religion. Now remember, Zarathustra lived like 11,000 years ago, y'all. Yeah, like 9,000. My bad, like 9,000 years ago. You dig? That was a major prophet during that time. And it's not the Zoroastrianism that you hear today, the Persian myth, all that. What the false gods do, they take the names of famous men and famous gods. And so they don't got to work to establish that amongst mortals. They take the name of these righteous men and gods and switch their doctrine. And that's where you got, you know, Buddhism and Zoroastrianism and Hinduism and all this extra, you dig? But the names that they are purporting to follow, you dig, was real individuals who lived thousands of years earlier, who actually was riding with the creator. And Zarathustra is one of them. And he taught the very same thing that Abraham taught, that Moses taught, that Yahshua taught, same thing. Right? But this is like 9,000 years ago, though. All right? 9,000 years ago. So we in a whole different arc cycle. All right? It says the Zarathustrian religion on earth, that war ceased, and the tribes and nations dwelt together in peace. The people ceased to build large cities and ceased striving for the things of the earth. But they learned little. But they learn little. Except rites and ceremonies, prayers and singing hymns of praise to the Creator and to his gods and lords, and to Zarathustra, the all pure. Thus ended the dominion of HOAB's reign in heaven and earth, whose greatness had never been surpassed. So the Creator brought the regions of Dan and sent 7 ships and delivered God and his harvest of 16 billion angels into the places of the light, the Nirvanian fields of whatchamacallit in Itinerary. The Nirvanian fields of whatchamacallit in Itinerary. You even got a name of where you going. You know what I mean? You even got a name to where you going. The Nirvanian fields of whatchamacallit in Itinerary. Y'all getting some understanding so far? Give me a 4 up in the chat. Bless up, bless up, bless up. Shout out to the haters, y'all jackers and naysayers. Yeah. We love y'all too. Bless up. Most y'all don't got the testicular fortitude of a damn squirrel. You know what I mean? We ain't talking about talking noise on the chat. You dig? Go ahead and set a debate up so you can get your boots smoked. Easy work. Easy work. You're dealing with a brother that done read through it. So, you know what I mean? Whatever. Let's do it. Do it the old school way. Right in front of everybody. Ooh-wee. Let's get into it. And then we're going to get into it. We get into a story. See, we already know. Go back to video 1 of this. We've been going over the system in order. Step by step, below in detail of the schools you got to graduate from. You know what I mean? The continual progression of man when he becomes a spirit or an angel and crossover. You still continue to learn, to grow, to develop, to advance. It's still all about loving your neighbors, yourself, and inspiring angels and men to raise up higher and higher, to become one with the Creator. That's what it's about. It don't stop. It gets better. All right? But there is a difference. You know, if you've been listening, you know there's a difference between the Creator and a God. All right? A true God will never tell you to worship him. Right? Only false gods command worship. All right? The Creator, if you're in service to the Creator, it's because of the righteous service you do unto others, the service you do unto his creation. You know, so remove every idol out your heart, love your neighbors yourself, and strive for purity of the body. All right, be sincere in what you're doing, and you'll be in good graces with the Most High Creator. And that's what they all came to teach, from Yahshua all the way back to Zarathustra. They taught the same thing. And they taught progression amongst man. Right? Eventually you gotta, the training wheels gotta come off, and you gotta be responsible for you. All right. Chapter 9, Divinity, I speak, Sky, Earth, Spirit. Chapter 9. Then God bewildered the state of the earth, because man ceased to love anything on it. His whole mind and heart was set upon heavenly things. And the earth was becoming like a neglected form, grown over with weeds and briars. So the Most High Creator answered God's prayer, saying, behold, I will bring darkness to cover the earth on all sides. Prepare for it. Prepare for it, my son. For not only will man desire the earth, but the angels in your high heavenly places will forsake them and go down to the earth. So it came to pass, the Creator brought YAH'KI upon the earth, and it was in a state of darkness for 400 years. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. And the sun did not shine, but was like a red ball of fire. And mortal things were without lights and shadows. And men's minds and hearts took after the nature of the physical world, losing sight of the Most High Creator and his heavenly promises. And they focused on the desires of earth and of the pleasures of the flesh life. Y'all hear this? You see this type of action going on now. Now during YAH'KI, there fell perpetual Atmospherian substance on the earth. And it was of the nature and kind of substance of which the earth is made, but atmospheric. And this is that which is called YAH'KI. All right, YAH'A is the panic word, and YAH'Ya is the Gao word for the same thing. Fallen substance. You dig? So as the earth travels through periods of light called Dan, the earth travels through periods of darkness. YAH'A, Ajah, and nebulae. All right, and this is for a reason. The earth is moving. It's not a stationary frisbee just stuck in a black space. That ain't what that is. You know what I mean? Look at this right here. And the plateau of Harati and Zeredho were driven down to the earth, and near the earth and the belt of meteors was moved nearer by thousands of miles. And in many places upon the earth, meteoric stones fell like a rain shower, but burning hot and with suffocating smell. And the affairs of mortals were changed. They built new cities and became great hunters, applying the wisdom of their forefathers to the matters of the earth. And the heavenly places of the light were broken up and descended to the earth. And the angels were cast upon the earth. And the angels were cast upon the earth, turning away from faith in the Creator, seeking joy in the affairs of earth. And God and his lords were powerless to inspire righteous works, either with mortals or angels. But man and woman became prolific, and they grew large and full of resolution and power. The voice of the Creator spoke to God, saying, maintain your kingdom, and your gods and lords under you shall also maintain their kingdoms. Nor shall you let my people become discouraged with my works. Trip off this, y'all. Because I have sent darkness upon the earth to benefit mortals in mortality. So also in that same time, I have given my heavenly hosts lessons in my spirit worlds. Neither shall they call this a judgment. Here you go. People love to do that. See, that's judgment of the Lord right there. Neither shall they call this a judgment upon them, nor say that I do these things in anger. God is smoking hot. That's why it's happening. Nah, you ain't going through, the earth is not going through stages of darkness because the Creator is angry. You ain't going through periods of darkness or stages in darkness in your life because God is angry with you. There's a benefit into going through something to where it's not as easy for you all the time. Sometimes your will and resolution got to get tried, don't it? Your willpower. Neither shall they call this a judgment upon them, nor say that I do these things in anger or as punishment, or for benefit of one to the injury of others. See that clarity? It's clarity. Look at this. Because you were guided by my voice and my commandments in bestowing the divine law. Behold, the strength and wisdom of your pupils. For to the extent that they learn to master the elements I created in atmosphere, so will they become triumphant in my Etherian worlds. Oh, we boy, huh? The only reason the earth goes through its dark periods in this so-called thing we call life, the only reason you go through your dark periods in life is so you can learn to master the elements. So you can learn to master your situation. That way you'll be more suited and triumphant for the higher heavens and the emancipated worlds. Man, that's cold. So now you can stop, you can get out of the woe is me spirit. You can get out of that spirit right now. Whenever you're going through anything that's trying, you're going through any time that's dark. You understand? That's so you can master it. Yeah. You get real creative when you ain't got all the resources at your disposal. When you ain't got the money at your disposal, you get real creative, don't you? Yeah, that willpower kick in. You start flexing your mental powers and things get to moving for you. Like certain doors get to opening up for you. So the earth going through its stages of darkness, and even you going through your stages of darkness, y'all look at it as another opportunity to become great. Pressure either is going to break us or it's going to make us great. Why do you think some of the most successful and all of the most and all mainly the most victorious stories come from those who didn't have much? When you successful and you got to put together and you ain't got the resources there and you still come out on top, that's because something was enacted within you. That something called willpower. Yeah, you start spending all your mental strength and you start focusing on this and you start meditating and you start speaking it into existence and you start manifesting what it is and you looked up and it's a reality. Nah, you ain't going, the creator ain't putting you through darkness so you can fold and so you can become greater. You see that? The earth ain't going through none of that so you can, because God angry at the angels and all that. No, it's so you can master the elements. So you can become better. How beautiful is that, man? That's powerful. That's powerful. He like, don't put it out there that I'm angry. That's why you're going through darkness. Or this is judgment of the Lord. That's why it's darkness. That's why we ain't seen the sun. The sun got blacked out. That was God's judgment. He's like, no, it ain't. That's so you could learn in the state of darkness to create light. When life give you lemons, what you supposed to do with the lemons? Make lemonade. Make lemonade, baby. You dig? And this is, what YHWH's is revealing, right? Now you can stop acting like it's all me and why I gotta go through all that. It's so you can learn to master your situation. That way you be triumphant when you get to the higher worlds and higher heavens. What? Come on, man. Be real with yourself, man. Look at this. Look at this. God ain't angry because you going through something or he put you through something because he's angry with you. You're being judged. Nah, so you can learn to master your situation. God perceived, and he and his lords and sub-gods fortified their kingdoms on all hands and provided assistance to their colleges. Yeah. Why do you think it's called a university? You die and go to the universe, right? University. And provide assistance to their colleges, factories, hospitals, and places of education in order to maintain the angels who had sought resurrection. Nevertheless, it came to pass that many angels believed the new order of light was coming on the earth, in which the earth would become the all highest abode for angels and gods. Oh, man. How the hell they pull that off? Others having lived 200 or 300 years in atmospheria and never having been in etheria began to disbelieve in the higher heavens and finally to disbelieve in the creator also. And in 200 years' time, God and his lords lost influence and power with both angels and mortals. And the latter took to war. Mankind went to war. And the angels who had ministered to them became wanderers and adventurers without organization and cared neither for truth nor wisdom, but flattered mortals for their own glory. And the kings and queens of the earth built temples for their familiar spirits. All these old temples and all that. Ancient temples. Well, I just seen some Daryl Cosmon had put up. He working on some. Man, there's so many ancient temples built out of skulls, out of the skulls of the victims of war. Man, there's so many ancient temples or Golgothas, or catacombs built off the bones and skulls of the dead, man. And the crazy part is these temples are temples built to familiar spirits, false gods. That's just crazy. And the kings and queens of the earth built temples for their familiar spirits who assumed the ancient names of gods and lords. Now, when the next ark of Dan was near at hand, God enumerated his upraised hosts, and there were 12 billion prepared as brides and bridegrooms for the Creator's higher heavens. And because it was less than the number of his predecessor, he cried out to the Creator, bewail in his weakness. And the Creator answered him, saying, do not bewail, my son. See, this is Jehovah talking to his son. Do not bewail, my son. You have done a great work, nor ask that you may remain another Dan, or until the next resurrection. For the next will not be so fair a harvest. So God grieved no more, but bestowed his kingdom on his successor, and his lords did likewise. And so did his sub-gods and all other persons having proteges or students. So we have teachers when we cross over. And God called together the brides and bridegrooms of the Creator. And the Creator sent 5 great ships of fire down from Itinerary and delivered God and his hosts into the emancipated worlds. Give me a 3 up in the chat if you're getting some understanding. We looking at system and order. And we showing y'all the times of Dan, right? And these times of Dan are the times of resurrection. You see, resurrection, we looking at resurrection like the night of the living dead. Basically, we all buried, and then a spirit come back into us, and we get about the grave. You know what I mean? We not realizing that the wedding ceremony happens after we cross over, and we rise up in the realm and go through all these departments of learning and all that. You dig? Then eventually we have a grade sufficient or high enough to get into our inheritance, which is the emancipated or the higher heavens. And then that's called a bride and bridegroom ceremony. Why? Because we're married to the Creator. All right. As a man, I'm a bridegroom. The female aspect of the Creator is Om. All right. Sisters are brides. The male aspect of the Creator is Yahweh or Jehovah or Jehovah, however anybody say it. You dig? But yeah, the Creator is male and female. Energy. Positive and negative energy. Right? You wouldn't have this light, this internet connection without positive and negative hookup of electricity or energy. All right, force. All right, the male side gives, the female side receives. That's why it says brides and bridegrooms. You got grown men claiming they're brides to Christ. You know what I mean? So we get more clarity dealing with what we deal with. It's clarity, man. All right, easy to understand too, very easy. All right, chapter 10, Divinity, OI speed. We get an understanding. That's what's up. That's what's up. Shout out to the haters, jaw jackers and naysayers. Yeah. We love y'all too. You know what I mean? Bless up, bless up, bless up. All right, let's get into it. Chapter 10. Now watch this. Let's get into another story. A story, right? In the 1200 year after Fragapati, which is or Fragapati. Okay. That's the Etherian angel that was over the ark of what is that? Lu, over the ark of Lu. All right. So 1200 years after that. All right. So 7053 minus 1200. All right. Minus 1200. So we down to 58. What is that? 58, 53 BC, something like that. So it's giving you a time period so you can walk on down. In the 1200 year after Fragapati in the east colony of Haredi, one Sea Tusk, a former lord of the Creator's host. So see, Lord in the Bible, they got you thinking that Lord is Jehovah or Yahweh. Lord is a rank or a title of an angel. Lord is actually a title or a rank that's lower than a god. We showed how you can become that. Then we show that. We showed. Let me pull it up for you so you can see. Look at this. Guesswork. See, this is what's going to be happening. This is what you're going to be learning and advancing through the first 1,071 years after you cross over. You go from an Essene. Shout out to the real Essenes, not you slanderous jaw Negroes. You hear the word chakra and blow your drawers out. Take your monkey ass over there somewhere. We gonna rock with weirdos. Niggas is weird. Anyway, when you first cross over, you're a newborn spirit. You an Essene. All right. You go from an Essene all the way over to what's called a Lord. All right. These are all the different schools, and you're gonna be graduated in and out of. Okay, Essene, entered apprentice, craftsman, nurse assistant to the ASAFs, assistant to the physicians, nurse, physician, entered factor, food transporter, large body transporter, creative, ooze learner, enter college, enter architecture, judgment seat and throne builder, enter school of light and darkness, heavenly boats and ships propeller and builder, atmosphere and earth traveler. Then you enter the second resurrection education, an apprentice Louis, and a Shar, a guardian angel for 133 years, and a Sa for 66 years. Enter the chapter of the primary soul, your messenger for 100 years, marshal for 200, and then you become a Lord, all for a total of 1,071 years. What you gonna be doing in heaven once you cross over? See, I just pulled the itinerary out. Y'all, we about to die. We got to cross over. So what we gonna be doing when we get there? Nobody knows. Or if they know, it's vague. We're gonna be listening to Michael Jackson Thriller. And then you ask us and we show you the itinerary. That's what you're gonna be doing. For the first 1,000 years, once you cross over, that's what you're gonna be doing. Perfecting yourself, growing, becoming more and more advanced. See that? All right. Now, this cat C-Tusk was a Lord, so that means he graduated from all this. He had all this education right here. And if y'all want to get more in detail about this, go to the first video I did like last week on this. This is part 3. All right. That means the cat we about to read about, this false god we about to read about, went through all this education and training. He did. And then broke away from the ranks to set up his own heavenly kingdoms and become his own God. He went through all that, got all the way down to her and became a Lord and started smelling himself. Ooh-wee, ooh-wee, ooh-wee. All right? So we pull receipts. We in your face with it, man. Dude, I don't know what y'all thought. I thought we was playing because that's what we ain't doing is playing. All right? That's what we ain't doing. Throw that on back right there. Let's get back to where we at. Let me see. Bing. Where we at right here? Hold on, y'all. Still ain't coming up. Wow. Here we go. All right. So now that we know who we dealing with, we dealing with somebody who went through the ranks. All right. All right. We're dealing with somebody who went through the ranks. He done spent at least 1,000 years and became what? A Lord. Right? In the 1200 year after Fergopity, all right, now that's 7053 BC when Fergopity, the Ark of Lu, right, and was inspiring Zarathustra. So we talking about 1200 years later, right, which will put us around 5853 BC, all right. In the 1200 year after Fergopity, in the east colony of Haredi, one C-Tusk, a former lord of the creator's host, look at this, renounced the creator. Wow, he went through all that and he renounced the creator and falsely proclaimed himself Ahura, the all-master. And he took with him 3 lords of grade 88, as well as 12 sub-gods of grade 64, and 1,600 students of 800 years resurrection, none of whom were less than grade 60, and were sufficient to pass as brides and bridegrooms. And these students took with them 36,000 teachers, factors, physicians, and nurses, all of whom were higher than grade 40. And Ahura appropriated to himself one colony of 110 million angels, together with the colleges, schools, factories, and all the things belonging in them. And the three lords took their kingdoms and by annexation made them part and parcel with Ahura's kingdom. Now these three lords' kingdoms comprise the largest habitable places of mortals in Venju, which is India, and Japheth, which is China, and the greatest heavenly places of angels in the first resurrection. So like he not only making this move, he's solidifying the majority of the heavens of the earth. Look at the kingdoms these lords brought to him. Now these three lords' kingdoms comprise the largest habitable places of mortals in India and China, and the greatest heavenly places of angels in the first resurrection. Wow. And Ahura divided up the regions he thus obtained, making confederate heavenly kingdoms, sufficient in number to give place of dominion to his lords and gods, and to make sub-gods out of all the 1,600 students. And after that, Ahura counted his people, and there were more than 3 billion souls in his heavens. Yeah, false gods got kingdoms too, y'all. This is one example right here. Ahura Mazda, Ahura, right? And his name sound like a god that came before him that was doing what the creator told him. He just took he took a similar name. It did switch the doctrine and did his thing. No way, look at this. God sent messengers. True God sent messengers to Lasitus, who had assumed the name of Ahura Mazda, admonishing and inquiring, my Lord, whom I have loved, whom by my own hand was crowned in the name of the Creator. Why have you deserted the Father's kingdoms? He like, look, I crowned you. You know what I mean? I remember, it's a God coming to him. Ahura at the most is a Lord. He ain't even raised to a God yet. So this is somebody of higher rank coming to holler at him like, man, what you doing? Like, what you on? My Lord, whom I have loved, whom by my own hand was crowned in the name of the Creator. Why have you deserted the Father's kingdom? In what way have you caused, in what way have you had cause to complain against the Creator or against me, your God? Oh, my son, my Lord, do not say you have gone so far you cannot return. What can you ask of me that I will not grant you? No, even judge me. And if you desire all the heavens and the earth in my place, I will abdicate to you and become your lowest servant, or whatever you will put upon me. So he's saying, he telling him like, look, don't do this, man. Look, if you want, you can rule why I rule it. I'll be your servant, but don't do this. Don't break rank. Don't go against Jaja. Dude, look. If you want to rule that bad, you can rule from where I'm ruling it, and I'll be your lowest servant. But do not forsake the Creator. Now, this is God, an angel of higher rank than Lasitus or Ahura. And look how he being. Well, he said, look, I'll abdicate. When you making a great mistake, man, you tripping. Ahura returned his answer, because I have nothing against you. I have alienated myself and my kingdom from you. I do not desire your kingdom, nor even my own. Behold, I looked upon you, and you were pure and holy. I looked upon the kingdoms of heaven and the kingdoms of earth, and they were impure and unholy. Then came certain brother lords to me, most wise lords, and they said, a less pure God, a less holy God will be more efficient. So I was persuaded to my course. God replied to this, saying, behold, we have a diva. You know what I mean? We got a God politic body up here, man. We have a diva. Why did you not speak thus before me face to face? And your 3 great lords were also divins, and they likewise were silent on the matter. Like, y'all over there quiet, man. Like, righteousness is done right in the open. What y'all hiding for? The div would have decreed whatever was all wise. Because I was in darkness, I did not see your thoughts, nor those of your lords. And you heap shame upon me. How shall I send my record to Itinerary? Shall I say, behold, certain lords consulted clandestinely and then concluded to overthrow the Creator? And in fact, they have gone and set up a kingdom of their own, calling it the All-Highest. Hear me yet, and I will endeavor to speak wisely to you. Some days ago, your messengers notified me that you had repudiated Yahweh, saying there is no all-highest person. I can make myself high as the highest. Then your messengers gave me a map, saying, behold, here are the boundaries of the kingdom of Ahura Mazda, the all-sufficient high God. I looked over the map and saw its great extent, and I surmised to myself, he is a great God who can rule over all that. For I know you and your education, which is as great as any lords in atmosphere. He like, man, I know you. True God hollering at Ahura like, who you up here putting on for? Boy, you ain't nothing but a lord. I know your education. I know where you been. Who you putting on for? A great God can rule that, but there's just one problem. You ain't that. You ain't that. You barely a lord. You a little loke. You barely a lord. You see how he talking to him? You see how he talking to him? He let it be known, like, man, look, you tripping. What is you on? You know what I mean? Like, bro, you straight up tripping. Look at this. But you know, this is what true God is telling Ahura, but you know you cannot control even a plateau. Sit your monkey ass down somewhere. Talking about you the all highest God. I know you. I know what your training and your education. I'm the one crowned you, Lord. But you know you cannot control even a plateau. Can you raise your hand and stop the Ajah or the Jaya or the nebulae? You can barely change a single current of wind. Nor can you cast a drought on any land. And yet you know there are gods who can do these things by a motion of one finger. How then do you dare proclaim yourself an all-sufficient high God? Sit your monkey ass down somewhere, boy. Boy, you a little loke. You ain't got up no WordPress. Look, this your education right here. Yeah, he's right here. Here, right here. This your education. You see God anywhere on this list? Boy, you's a Lord. That's where you at, right here. You a Lord. Not dare you get out here and start pump faking like you the all highest God. You can't even lift a plateau. You barely can change a single current of wind. But you know there are gods who can do this by snapping their finger. How dare you twist your lips? How dare you fix your face and claim you the all highest God? Sit your monkey ass down somewhere, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, look, we know you. Who you in here putting on for? That's crazy, man. I'm trying to tell you, like, we got to be careful. Everybody ain't solid. You know what I mean? How then do you dare proclaim yourself an all-sufficient high God? But I would not rebuke you, for I desire your love and your help. I will win you by any sacrifice I can make. Behold, there is great darkness in heaven and on earth. Whatever I may be short in, I will rebuke myself in after ages. I pray then, return to me and make exactions upon me in my kingdoms. With your loss, behold, Diva is broken up. With your dismemberment of heavens, others will follow. Alas, I will not look upon even that which my soul sees. I plead for your love and assistance. Nevertheless, if the all highest light for the all best good shows you that you are right, do not come to me. I know the great spirit will sustain me, even though my soul is well near crushed to pieces by the loss of so fair a love. He's like, man, we homeboys. What is you on? To this, Ahura replied, if it were not the wisest, best course to do as I did, how did the thought come to me? God replied, because of the long reign of Jaya, you were inoculated, you were drunken with darkness. even as a mortal on a rainy day loses his patience to be wise. Then Ahura sent the following: I have been patient in my answers, but now I will speak plainly. First of all, you are all pure and most wise, above all other gods. For more than 200 years, I have been a faithful Lord to you and your kingdoms. At first, the great light came to you, and a voice came out of the light. Then I was afraid and awestruck because I believed you were so near the Creator. Your every word and act were worshipful to me. That's where he tripped. At last, I rebuked myself, saying to myself, fool, giving worship to man born of woman. Remember your Creator only. Remember your Creator only. And look, this is a false God saying this. And that's true. What are you doing giving worship to any man born of a woman? Remember your Creator only. Look at this. But the times changed. YAH'KI fell upon heaven and earth. Our glorious kingdoms were cast down by the great darkness. Then I reasoned with myself, saying, behold, when we were in light, the Creator's voice spoke to us. When the darkness came, the voice came no longer came. We sat in the diva in the altar circle, praying for light from the Father, but it did not come. And I said, we need the voice in darkness even more than in light. For 100 years, we did not see the light of the voice, nor hear the voice speak. You have said you heard in your soul, who is there in heaven or earth that cannot say as much. In my soul, I no longer believe there is an all person. There are great gods, 1,000 times greater than I, but that is all. Yes, some of those great gods may have cast the YAH'KI upon us, but that is not my concern. There is room for you and your people. Here is room for me and my people. Yahweh spoke to God, saying, do not answer Ahura anymore. Behold, I will interpret him to you. Look, he will eventually persuade angels and mortals that it was he who inspired Zarathustra. But he himself does not foresee this. Permit him, therefore, to go his own way, nor should you take sorrow to your soul because of it. Have I not given to all men? Have I not given to all men from the lowest to the highest, even that which they desired? Behold, I can use even bad men in the far future. Y'all hear this? Creator telling the true God, his son, like, look, don't cry for him, don't do none of that. Look, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. Look, I'm about to tell you blow by blow how this is about to play out. And everybody gets what they desire. Ain't blaming the Creator, you desired it. I can use even bad men in the far future. The Creator said, for a long season, Ahura will strive to walk upright, but because he has cut me off, he will also cut himself off in time to come. Behold, a mortal man strives for riches honorably, and when he is rich, his riches cut him off from me by the ruin he casts upon his competitors. Nor can he extricate himself. Even so will it be with Ahura. His kingdom and his sub-kingdoms and his multitude of officers will cause him to enslave hundreds of millions of drudges, and they will draw him into a vortex from which he cannot escape. He says, so in essence, Ahura is what? Building his own hell. Yeah. You become bound to that, what it is you rule over. You become bound to all those riches and resources you want so painstakingly. See what the Creator said? He prophesied this was about to happen with him. He cut me off. He cut himself off. Right? And he about to cast ruin upon his competitors. Any other gods jump out there and go against him. He gonna do whatever he can do to win. His kingdom and his sub-kingdoms and his multitude of officers will cause him to enslave hundreds of millions of drudges or demons. And the spirits of the dead that are below the grades. Yeah, the minions, the misfits. And they would draw him, the false god, into a vortex from which he can't escape. So God answered Ahura no more, but nevertheless his heart was full of sorrow. Now when the time of the meeting of Diva came, God foresaw that not more than one half of them would be present, and he feared the questions that might come up. But the Creator said to him, do not fear, my son, For even though many more leave you, yet you shall preserve the diva to the end of this cycle. So it came to pass that the Creator stilled the tongues of all the gods and lords of the diva in reference to Ahura, even as if they had never known him. And Ahura sent quizzers to different gods and lords afterward to learn what action the diva had taken in this case. But when he was told that he had not been mentioned, he became angered. This is an angry God. He became angered and swore an oath that he would build the largest of all heavenly kingdoms. Because of the great darkness on heaven and earth, God sent hope and promise into all the kingdoms, urging his lords and his sub-gods to maintain faith, not only within themselves, but also within the hearts of their respective inhabitants. Now, from the time of the succession of Ahura to the next Dan will be 300 years. And God knew this, though the multitudes in heaven and earth did not. And God commanded great recreations and extensive labors in order to prevent further dismemberment. But in the course of 100 years, many were carried away by the extravagant stories told about Ahura's kingdom, being places of great delight and of ease and idleness. Ahura's Lord said to him, you shall adorn your kingdom, your throne, and your capital. Cetus shall be the largest and most ornamental of all places in the universe. So he names his capital after himself. Remember, his name is Cetus. And our sub-kingdom shall be places of great delight. And Ahura was persuaded, and so began his self-glorification and his lords with him. And in another 100 years, Ahura had withdrawn and annexed to him the following provinces in heaven, along with their sub-gods. Oh, man. Itinerary with 70 million souls. Hawak with 100 million souls. Hen with 20 million souls. Dinayato with 80 million souls. Irifravish with 190 million souls. The whole of the kingdom of Ger-Akshi, 600 million souls. The whole of the kingdom of Sufwa with 800 million souls. And all of these confederated in the lower heavens, making the kingdom of Cetus the central kingdom, with Ahura as master in chief. Wow. That's crazy, man. Wow. What Nehemiah say, boy? Malaki sound like a young Dick Gregory when he always say, trip off that every day. yeah. That's crazy. Dick Gregory. Hey, may the ancestor rise in power, man. You know, that's a homeboy. He from St. Louis. I know his nephews and them went to school with him. Look at this. This reduced the diva to 7 members, but these remained faithful, and God kept up the standard of resurrection for 100 years more. And then the Creator sent a region of Dan, a region of light, to heaven and earth. And the Most High heavenly host descended in fire ships and took God and his harvest up to the Creator. And with all the misfortune that befell God and his lords, there were nevertheless 6 billion brides and bridegrooms to the Creator, raised up to the higher heavens. Look at this. Now, when the Etherian host came for the resurrection, knowing the darkness that was upon the lower heaven and the earth, they sent Otivans with heralds and trumpeters around the earth, proclaiming the resurrection at hand, and asking all who choose to go to Meru and Haredi. And the word was whispered throughout Ahura's kingdom. What? Then in truth, there must be higher heavens than this. Alas, had we been faithful till now, we would have been brides and bridegrooms. They're like, dang, man, all we had to do was wait up a couple more years. All we had to do was wait a couple more years. Y'all see the importance of patience, the importance of maintaining faith in the Creator. They missed their out date. They extended their time in the lower heavens because they lost faith and didn't trust the process. Then in truth, there must be higher heavens than this. Alas, had we been faithful to now, we would have been brides and bridegrooms. So strong was this disaffection for Ahura that 5 of his lords broke membership and re-affiliated with God and his kingdoms. And thus matters stood when God's successor came to the throne. Ahura starting to have problems. Starting to have problems. Starting to have problems. If y'all get some understanding, give me a 2 up in the chat. Bless up, bless up, bless up. Bless up, bless up. Give me a 2 up in the chat if y'all getting some understanding. Riding with your brother Malachi Maccabee, man. We in the fire ship, in the theory and fire ship, and we coursing the cosmos, you dig? And we get some understanding about where we all going. Start asking people, of different religions and faiths. So what we going to be doing when we get to heaven? Like, what are we going to be doing? And you're going to notice that the answer is real vague, if there's an answer at all. You see that? It's real vague. Then you come over and ask me, give you a blow-by-blow detail. Y'all, that's equivalent of going on a trip and not knowing what you're going to do when you get there. How foolish is that? So at least you're aware. All right? Look at this right here. The next Dan was 500 years, and God and his heavenly kingdoms prospered under the Creator. But as to the Lord's kingdoms on earth and mortal kingdoms and empires, not much light was manifested in them. For Ahura, who had falsely taken and was known by the name of Ahura Mazda, established lords to rule over mortals. And these lords were in direct opposition to God's lords. For the latter taught the higher heavens, true God, and the lords of under true God. Look what they teach. That's how we know if you worship any god, that's a false god. For the latter taught the higher heavens and the all-person, the creator, according to the language of mortals. But Ahura's lords taught only one heavenly kingdom, which was Ahura's called Sea Tusk, all high as heaven. God's lords inspired mortals to everlasting resurrection. So you hear Creator Gang all the time saying upward and outward forever. Right? You'll never reach the all highest. You know what I mean? Upward and outward forever. Right? God's lords inspire mortals to everlasting resurrection. Ahura's lords inspire mortals to Ahura's kingdom, and they're the end. And since mortals had built temples for their priests, who were gifted with suis, the spirits congregated in the temples and often appeared in sarges, teaching openly their differing doctrines. And the shards that labored for Ahura. So there are false guardian angels, there are false lords, there are false gods. You see that? And the shards that labor for Ahura extolled the glory and the delight of Sea Tusk and the wonderful majesty and power of Ahura. But the shards of God's host inspired and taught of the great spirit, the unapproachable. Man, salute the faithers, man. 500 years, God's hosts were confronted with this opposition. And it came to pass that mortals, especially in India, were divided into 2 great classes of worshipers. And just before God's successor came into dominion, he propounded the matter in Diva, upon which all members spoke at great length. Afterward, Div decreed, whatever is worship, having comprehensible form or figure, is a what? Is an idol. Idol, y'all. There it is right there. Now you got a definition on it. Whatever is worship having a comprehensive form or figure is an idol. He who worships an idol, whether stone or wood, or whether it is a man or an angel, sins against the Creator. Let that soak in. This was given to all of God's lords, and by them to the guardian angels, and commanded to be taught to mortals by inspiration and otherwise. You heard that? Huh? You ain't supposed to be worshiping any God, any Lord, any Savior. All right? Whatever is worship, that's an idol. Whatever is worship, now trip off this. Whatever spiritual system you part of, if what you worship is on this list, then you're into idolatry. Whatever is worship having comprehensible form or figure. God in the Bible is in the image of a man, right? Or man is made in the image of God, right? Whatever is worshipped, having comprehensible form or figure, is an idol. He who worships an idol, now these are idols: wood, stone, man or angel, sins against the Creator. This was given to all of God's lords, and by them to the Ashars, and commanded to be taught to mortals by inspiration and otherwise. When the time of Dan came, there were 7 billion brides and bridegrooms raised up to the Creator emancipated worlds. And the succeeding God and lords came into dominion under more favorable auspices, but which were not to continue long. The Diva had extended to 14 members. And God's lords had succeeded in securing kingdoms in the principal parts of China, India, and Africa. On the other hand, the emissaries of Ahura the False had been most active in extending the kingdom of their idol. Ahura was most cunning with the last divine act. Instead of interdicting it, he altered it. So it read as follows: whatever is worshipped having comprehensible form or figure is an idol. He who worships an idol, whether it is made of stone or wood, or whether it is a man or an angel, sins against the All-Highest, who is personated in Ahura. Wow. Wow. The holy begotten Son. Wow. Of all created creations. Wow. Dang. Dang. That's crazy. He altered it, huh? And next, Ahura decided to found a second heaven, decreeing to his emissaries as follows: behold, Gur-Akshi, the heavenly region above the land of Helest. Helest is Greece, y'all. All right. There I will build a new heaven, greater than all other heavens, except Sea Tusk. And when Gur-Akshi is well founded, I will people it with many millions of mighty angels, gods and lords. And my host shall descend to the physical earth, to the land of Persia and Africa. And they shall obsess mortals day and night and inspire them to go to Helest or Greece, or they shall build great cities and kingdoms devoted to me and my host. It's Read 708. Parsay or Persia is located in the southern part of Helest of the image with text post-flood world map. So Helest here probably refers to the rest of Helest. All right, now look at this right here. And when these things are fulfilled, behold, I will send my host to Europa, and there also build heavenly kingdoms and mortal kingdoms. And when these are established, behold, I will send my host into other countries, one after another, until my heavenly kingdoms embrace all places, and until all the earth is mine. For I will be God over all, and you who labor with me shall be my lords and sub-gods forever. And my kingdoms and your kingdom shall be bestowed with glories and ornaments like never before. And the gods of other worlds shall not be permitted to come against me or mine to carry away my people. They shall no longer flatter them, calling them brides and bridegrooms to the Creator, a thing none can see or comprehend. And Ahura and his emissaries went to work to carry out these decrees, and in 200 years they had inspired the Persians and the Africans, Arabians, to immigrate by tens of thousands to the land of Helest. In another place, it's shown that the languages of Helest were Persian, Indian, Chinese, and Arabic. Wow. Which was inhabited by drunks and wanderers full of wickedness. Ahura inspired his immigrants to fall upon the native drunks and destroy them, by which came to pass that which the Creator spoke in Marut, saying, those who cannot be raised by persuasion may be aroused by less scrupulous masters. And while Ahura's host was slaying the drunks of Helest by tens of thousands, God's heavenly hosts were receiving their spirits and conducted them away to other atmospheric regions. So who he killing, the Creator still providing for their spirit. They still good. These then were the divisions of mortals on earth at this time. First, the Ions, who were the original faithists, and they were capable of prophecies and miracles to such an extent that all other people called them the sacred people. Nor did the great warriors of other nations and peoples molest them or bother them. The Ions lived secluded and separate from all other people. Nevertheless, they were the seed of everlasting life on the earth, and the foundation for raising up prophets and seers for other peoples. Even as Zarathustra's mother was of the Ions, so was it with all men and women born into the world, having Suis and Sarges. For being near the Creator, they had faith in him and him only. The second race, equally ancient, was the Druks, the barbarian hordes, incapable of inspiration, except for their stomach's sake. And though they were told 1,000 times, behold, you have a spiritual body, they neither understood nor cared, and forgot it a moment later. And though it was said to them, behold, there is a great spirit, they did not hear nor understand nor heeded the words. The third race was the Iowans, born between the Ions and the Druks. To this race, in its early days, a commandment was given by God not to marry with the Druks. They had maintained that law among themselves by the sign of circumcision. The following then was the first beginning of persecution against faithists in the Creator. When Ahura usurped his heavenly kingdom and appointed guardian angels over mortals, he was determined to leave nothing undone in order to overthrow the doctrine of the Creator, the all-person. So he decreed as follows. Since by the mark of circumcision they have pride in being faithists, I will not have circumcision. After the third generation, whoever has this mark upon him is my enemy. He shall be pursued, and no prophet shall fall to his lot. Do not permit little children to be maintained for my sake. Rather, let them be circumcised in heart. And Ahura put no restriction upon his mortal followers marrying. And so it came to pass that those drugs not slain in her less married with the worshippers of Ahura. And about this same period of time, the Creator brought the earth into a light region for 200 years. And when the diva was in session, the Creator's voice spoke to Div, saying, "Do not let my sons be cast down because of the sins of Ahura. Rather be wise and appropriate from his wickedness, that which will be good in the end. For as it was not lawful for my people to marry with the drugs, behold, Ahura has made a law on his own account against circumcision. And it shall come to pass that by their Ahura and his cohort sins, even drugs shall be raised up to learn of me and my kingdoms." And it came to pass that a fourth race rose up in the world, and it was mongrel, being dark and short and less noble. The Iowans were red and brown and tall and majestic, the Ions small, white, and yellow. And Jehovah put these marks upon his peoples so that the races could be read in thousands of years. Oh, wait. And it's crazy because dealing with the Ions and them being white and yellow and small, you dealing with that explains why albinism is in every race. If all of us have that iron gene in us, then that explains why albinism or being an albino is possible no matter what race you were part of. That explains the albinism gene or the albino gene. And the Creator put these marks upon his people so that the races could be read in thousands of years. Ahura perceived this. When his Lord said to him, "Behold, the marks of Suis are written," then Ahura sought to disprove the Creator in this. He said, "Behold, there are two senses to all men, the spirit and the physical. One is in abeyance, the other acts. This is Suis. Call together your companions and find a remedy, for I will prove all things in heaven and earth." For 50 years, Ahura and his host tried by other means to have a great prophet and seer born into the world, but failed. Ahura said, "I know the way of Louis. They decoy the Iron men to go with the Iowan damsels, but I have sworn there is no Creator. How then can I go to the sacred people?" All right. After all, such a prophet might prove treacherous to my kingdom. So Ahura commanded his emissaries to weigh the matter for another 50 years and then to solve the problem. So Ahura's emissaries inspired thousands of experiments to be made by which a prophet or seer could be made among the mongrels. So they're trying to produce a prophet. False God trying to produce a prophet amongst the mongrels. And the Creator allowed him to discover that by pressing down the front brain of infants, they could be made capable of Suis. And infants were strapped on boards and another board strapped on the forehead to press the head flat. And every day the headboard was restrapped tighter than the day before until the forehead, which holds the corporeal judgment, was pressed flat and the judgment of the brain driven up into the light perceiving regions at the top of the head. Dang, they didn't put the cone head on the little joker. Dang. Cone, forced cone head. Forced cone head ritual amongst mongrels. See if we can find some images. Good night. The cone. I remember the cone is the movie. Dang. But this is basically what it is. Let me click on something. Strap a board on your head into your brain is forced up into the higher regions of your skull. And this was their attempt to make a profit. All right. Let me see if we got any more. Got Samuel L. Jackson right here. Cone head looking joker. But that's basically what they were doing. And let me type this in. Strapped board to head to forehead. Yeah, basically this is what it is though, y'all. You have the cone, whole cone head situation. That's crazy. Probably a little flat up top key. Yeah. That's the closest I can try to get him. Put flat head right. Flat head on. Try that. Oh, maybe something like that. But nah, that forehead would be flat, right? They strap the board to the front of the forehead. Something like that. You know, something just like that. That's crazy. Until the forehead, which holds the corporeal judgment, was pressed flat, and the judgment of the brain driven up into the light-perceiving regions at the top of the head. Ahura thus raised up prophets and seers, and they were willing instruments in his hands, and he sent tens of thousands of angels into all the divisions of the earth, teaching this to mortals, thus laying down the foundation for his grand scheme of reducing heaven and earth into his own kingdoms. Jehovah spoke in the diva, saying, permit even this, that drunks will heed what one of their own people says as a seer, more than if the same thing were said 100 times over by an iron. Ooh, y'all get some understanding. Give me a 5 up in the chat. Bless up, bless up, bless up. We cooking. We cooking. We are cooking, boy. Right? I'm gonna do one more chapter. We've been going almost 3 hours. I'm gonna do one more chapter real quick. And then we're gonna break it down. You know what I mean? Shut it on down. Head flattening. Yeah, let me look that up real quick. Head flattening. Dang. That's crazy though, man. Like that's the process by which they would do to make a head flat. Something they would do to push the brain back. Or push the brain up, should I say. Forehead. Let me put forehead flattening. Forehead. Flat forehead. I think y'all get the gist of what I'm saying, though. You feel me? Like they do some skull modification to produce some type of profit. Like, that sounds crazy. In fact, you'll do that to your child. Click on the native. Hold on, y'all. Right here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Chapter 12, OI Speed, Sky Earth Spirit. We're going to shut it down after this. You already know. All praises. The next resurrection was 6 billion souls, and God and his lords and his sub-gods had maintained the diva and maintained all the orders of heaven and the divisions and kingdoms, except those that had confederated with Ahura and his kingdoms. And God and his lords have preserved their own colleges, schools, factories, hospitals, and nurseries. System in order, y'all. All that's on the other side when you cross over. Yeah. Yeah. As well as their standard in temples with mortals. And as to mortals who remain faithless, that is, the Iowan race preserved in purity, God and his lords and the shores held command over them for the glory of the Creator. But over the mongrels who were multiplying fast on the earth, Ahura and his lords and the shores held command. But alas, for the grade of Ahura's host in heaven, in less than 1,000 years, he had abolished his colleges and schools, except what pertained to acquiring knowledge of the earth and atmosphere. He did not teach his people to look higher for other worlds. And in this, he began the work that was later to be his own downfall. The Creator has said, whoever fails to provide a philosophy for the endless acquisition of knowledge dams up the running waters I have made. Woo! Headshot. You ain't provided a system for the endless acquisition or acquiring of knowledge? Guess what you working? You kind of productive, Jack. You stopping the flow of water. You see that? Oh, wait. Whoever fails to provide a philosophy for the endless acquisition of knowledge dams up the running waters I have made. Let Ahura teach what he will. The time will come when he will be obliged to find an outlet for my created beings. And rather than acknowledge me in my person, he will profess to send souls back into earth to be what? Reincarnated. Headshot. Y'all don't know that's a doctrine of a false god. A one-time false god named Ahura. Because he didn't want to profess and confess to all person or the Creator. Well, he started saying, oh no, you're reincarnated. Nah, bro. You gonna get up out of here just to return back to kindergarten. Start all over. Onward and upward. That make more sense to me. A false God taught that. Because he didn't want to admit to the ever-present Creator. He's taught that souls are sent back into the earth to be reincarnated. Try again, huh? Ahura's heavenly kingdoms numbered more than 6 billion souls, and half of them were little better than drudges. You heard it? You got 6 billion souls, but 3 billion of your kingdoms or your servants are below the grade. They're demons. They're the minions. They're the misfits. Being slaves of certain masters, doing whatever they were told without knowing or desiring to know the reason for it. As yet there were 600 years to pass before another dawn of Dan, in which God, his lords, and their people had faith that Jehovah's hosts would come from on high to help deliver heaven and earth out of darkness. On the other hand, Ahura, although having been taught the cycles in his early education, he already know what's going on. You know what I mean? He already know what's going on. It ain't like he don't know. He know. He know exactly what's going on. Right? Remember, he was a one-time Lord. So he went through he spent his first 1,000 years in the spirit world and rised up through the ranks. Having been taught the cycles in his early education, spread the word abroad in heaven and earth that there were no cycles, that as things are, they had always been and would continue to be. So as much as God's host prophesied a coming light, Ahura and his host prophesied that nothing of the kind would come. Ahura moreover sent the following order to his lords to be taught in heaven and earth as follows. Am I not he who inspires Zarathustra to all pure? Did I not speak to him face to face? Are all created things not my own? Who then knows except me if I will light up the world again? Behold, I am the personation of Ormaz, who was voidance, but now is me. Dang, he said he was nowhere to be found. He's an absentee landlord. But now is me, Ahura Mazda. In me only is life and death and resurrection. Whoever calls Ahura Mazda is mine and within my keeping. Now allow your judgment to be wrapped or warped by prophets who hope for impossible things. Now in the 80th year of the final Dan, Ahura's many heavenly kingdoms began to be disturbed by his sub-gods' lack of advancement. And so 60 of them congregated together and by messenger appealed to Ahura, saying, in reference to you, O you all-highest God, many hundreds of years we have served you, and we have paid you tribute whenever you required it of us. We have helped you. We have helped to adorn your capital, Sea Tusk. We have laid your streets with diamonds and pearls. We have built your mansions with precious gems. And as to your throne, what one of us is here who has not contributed to glorify it before you? Yes, in all ways we have been most loyal and tributary to you. Nor are we unmindful of your own wisdom, of our own wisdom. We remember your arguments of old. Before succeeding from your God, you said to him, behold, you have long promised we will be raised to more exalted kingdoms. But behold, 200 years have elapsed, and there is no advancement. You see? False God ain't look down the road and see, hold on, bro, you go, guess what you're going to do? Huh? You're going to dig your own grave, basically. You're going to pull this very kingdom down upon your own skull. You have long promised we would be raised to more exalted kingdoms, but behold, 200 years have elapsed, and there is no advancement. This is the argument you used for leaving your God's kingdoms. Behold, we have now served you and your kingdoms more than 1,000 years. We come to you to know how we can now serve you so that you may exalt us into kingdoms commensurate with our wisdom and power. To this, Ahura replied, saying, most humble and well-meaning lords and sub-guys, why did you not come to me face to face? Hold on. But that's what God told Ahura, didn't he? You should have came to the deep and hollered me face to face. Now Ahura is saying the same thing. Why did you not come to me face to face? Why have you consorted in private? Was not my capital and before my throne the proper place for your argument? Had you suggested any way by which advancement for you was possible, I would have answered your demand. But his lords and sub-guys did not come before him, but sent this answer. As you promised us advancement, provided we serve you. So we likewise promised our ashars and our marshals and captains. Now they come to us saying, we have served for hundreds of years. Give us preferment. Give us advancement. But we have nothing to give. Do not think, O God, that we are unwise or that we hunger and come begging or that diadems, gems, or costly thrones would satisfy us. We know what you have to give. Promises. We know every corner of your vast kingdom and that all places are full and that you cannot exalt us. Why then should we have spoken before the throne and seat us? Would not our voices merely breed mischief among your other gods and lords? Or rather, let us error in our proceeding, bringing just punishment upon ourselves, then injure you and your kingdoms. Here is then, O Ahura, where does the desire for endless advancement come from, if this heaven is all? If a little knowledge gives power, why then is great knowledge not desirable? We have destroyed our great colleges, saying you must not go higher than us. Remember, O Ahura, we were students under the faithless God and lords when you succeeded. And you said to us, behold, the long training of your course, a curriculum of what? 1,000 years. Come with me, and I will give you kingdoms at once. Hold on. What do you mean by the training, yo? This. It takes roughly 1,000 years to become a Lord. 1,000 years. How do we know that? Look down there. These are the years. Your first resurrection education is 372 years. Your second resurrection education lasts 699 years for a total of 1,071 years. So who would say, well, dang, that's too long. You got to wait 1,000 years to become a Lord. I'm going to give you a kingdom in a minute. Wow. See how I come together and start making sense? See that? See that? Oh, wait. Right here. "14. So we came to you and we were suddenly puffed up with great pride. Behold, now we look abroad and the same stars shine upon us. We have not visited them. We do not know how to go so far. The countless Etherian worlds lay beyond ours. We are told that they are habitable. We do not know. We have no knowledge enabling us to get away from these heavens, except indeed back to the filthy earth." To this, Ahura replied, saying, "It is plain to me you are beside yourselves. This heaven is good enough. If there are higher heavens, let them come or stay. I do not go to them, but in truth, with your present convictions, I would be an unwise God not to grant you dismissal from our kingdoms." This ended the matter, and the 60 sub-gods then deliberated on their course and finally sent the following address to God and Maru. Now they like, look, let's send word to true God. You know what I mean? We the ones that followed this cat all them years ago. You know what I mean? We followed him all them years ago, and we should have just stayed down with what we was doing. I'm trip off this. So they sent word to true God, right? In reference to you, God of the faithist, in the creator. We have had sub-kingdoms and know our rank is beneath yours, but we are reaching outward and onward. We submit our cause to you. First, then, there are 60 of us of the rank of sub-gods, and we hold 700 million subjects. This affection has risen between ourselves and Ahura, from whom we are alienated. But whether we shall unite our hosts into a new kingdom of our own or affiliate with some mighty God, that is our question. What preferment can you give to us if we turn our subjects over to you? Trip off God's answer. Trip off God's answer. They like, we don't know what to do. We got all these servants. If we turn them over to you, what preference can you give us? Trip off how true God answers. God answers saying, brothers, hear me patiently and consider my words. First then, I am not God of the faithless or of any other people, but God of the locality that was assigned to me by the Father through his Son. Nor can you give your subjects to me, for by my service to the Creator, I can have nothing, and least of all my brothers and sisters. He's like, you can't give me your servants? Crazy? I can own nothing, especially my brothers and sisters. Moreover, I can give you no preferment. I have nothing, neither to give nor to sell. When the Father gives me wisdom and power, I impart them to others. Besides, until you have also learned to know that you have nothing, neither slaves nor jewels, also desiring nothing, except wisdom and strength to impart to others. How can you hope to gain admittance into my places of learning? You said you can't even get here until you let all that go. You still running around here like little children talking about what's yours. You can't even get into my place of learning. Moreover, I can give you no preferment. This is what true God is saying to those who just left and disaffected from Ahura's kingdom. He said, look, then later for you giving me something, I can't own nothing, especially my brothers and sisters. Right? Then He letting it be known, like, look, I only got wisdom and power to share with somebody. And until you also have learned to know that you have nothing, neither subjects nor Jews, also desiring nothing except wisdom and strength to impart to others, how can you hope to gain admittance to my places of learning? And lastly, since you have kingdoms of your own already, raise them up and thus prove to me your just merit. You're like, don't be coming to me talking about you finna give me your kingdom, raise them up. You do that. Y'all see the responsibility? You still responsible. To this, the confederated gods replied, what do you mean? That gods and angels must labor for others rather than themselves forever and receive nothing for it. God answered them, even so, except you shall receive an abundance of happiness, and it will endure forever. He said, yeah, except you receive an abundance of happiness. Man, it feel good when you do things for other people, don't it? It feel good. To know you're a benefit or an asset to those around you. It feels great. So what you mean we supposed to do all that and receive nothing for it? God answered, even so, yeah. Except you shall receive an abundance of happiness, and it will endure forever. Here the matter ended for 2 whole years, and the sub-gods did not understand the plan of the Creator's kingdoms. But their kingdoms were out of sorts, having no head, and hundreds of thousands of the subjects were deserting them and returning down to the physical earth, becoming wanderers and drudges. Finally, the sub-gods again appealed to God in Meru, inquiring as follows: is a God not a God, whether he is for another or for himself? Behold, we have helped to build up Ahura. He is a mighty God. If we affiliate with you, we will labor to build you up also. Yes, we will adorn your throne and your great heavenly city. But since we have been sub-gods, we do not desire to enter your service as menials. They like, look, we don't want to be little oaks. Like, give us our same rank and pay. We don't want to be little oaks. We don't want to be minions. Hey, look, go ahead and give us our same rank and pay. You know what I mean? But we do not desire to enter your service as menials and servants. What then shall we do so that both you and ourselves may have honor and glory? True God, God answered them, saying, you cannot serve me. I have no slaves. Serve Yahweh only. Behold, we are all brothers, being sons of the same great spirit. As for building me up, it is sufficient for me that he who created me will build me up according to my just deserts. As for adorning my throne, you can only bring substance to it from the lower kingdoms, which I do not desire. Why would you adorn the heavenly city of Meru? Behold, it is merely a resting place on the great journey to the kingdoms of endless light. In a few hundred years at most, not only I, but my host will rise from this place never to return. Boy, I heard our true God answering them. Everything they're bringing to him, like, we can build up your throne. We can build up your city. We can work for you. You can have our servants. You can have our kingdoms. And he's like, nah, that ain't how this works. And why would you even build up this heavenly city of Meru? It's just a resting place. No, it's just a resting place. One of many resting places on your way to the kingdoms of endless light, boy. You ain't told me in a few hundred years, I'm out of here. What is you building this up for? What you mean you want to go deck my throne out? You can only bring me materials from the lower kingdoms. I don't want that. Man, that's cold, man. And lastly, and that shows you that they end up working for others. You know what I mean? And lastly, to be a self-god like Ahura is to own all things possible and hold on to them. To be a god as I am is to own nothing and to retain nothing, but to be forever giving away all one receives. Did I not say to you before, begin with your own hosts and exalt them? Because you asked for subjects, behold, the Father gave them to you. Do not think that he will allow you now to cast them aside or barter them off. No, them your slaves. You asked for them, you got them. Don't try to give them to me. Y'all see the system in order? This cold, man. The whole system in order is cold. You ain't never heard nothing like it. Neither shall you allow them to become wanderers, nor return back to the earth as drudges. To the extent that you raise up the kingdoms that have been entrusted to you, so will you also be raised up. So it's like, look, you realize y'all broke the ranks. Y'all went over there with old boy Ahura. All right. Now y'all disaffecting from his kingdom. But look, your judgment is this. This is the work you got to do. You got to labor to raise all your servants and followers up. And you can't allow them to return or allow them to become wanderers, nor return back to the earth as demons or drudges. To the extent that you raise up the kingdoms that have been entrusted to you, so will you also be raised up. That's hard. Nevertheless, if you desire to affiliate with the Creator's kingdoms, the way is open to you. And your first labor would be to gather together all your own hosts and to labor among them, teaching them wisdom, strength, and individuality. Equal with yourselves. Equal with yourselves. And when the lowest of them all, and when the lowest of them all is risen, so, hold on. And when the lowest of them all is risen, so, then you can enter the kingdoms of the Father, as you have had the profit of your subjects for hundreds of years. Return now to them service for service. Creator's justice. See, slave master becomes the slave in the next world. He got a labor to raise up everybody he harmed, everybody he did wrong. Until then, he ain't going nowhere. Bound. The sub-gods made no answer to this for a while, but the Creator moved upon their hearts, and they perceived wisdom and justice. And they repented bitterly, bewailing the loss of the 1,000 years in which they had espoused kingdoms. But they did not have sufficient power or learning to extricate themselves, so they petitioned God for more light. And so God affiliated them and appointed Vishnu as Lord to them and their hosts. And Vishnu took 300,000 teachers, captains, physicians, nurses, and laborers and went to them in Maitreus, a heavenly place to the west of Venu. And there established a lordly division with messengers connecting them to Maru in Haredi. And Vishnu sent his captains with sufficient forces under the command of the sub-gods to arrest those who had become wandering spirits or had returned to the earth as drudges. And while they were on this duty, Vishnu organized his lordom. And this was the first lordom established in heaven, which is to say, as mortals on earth have military stations, so it was the lordom of Vishnu. Jehovah's voice has spoken to God indeed, for saying, behold, the time is coming when the sub-kingdoms of Ahura the false will begin to revolt. And they have billions of slaves who will strive to go back to the earth to dwell with mortals. They dwell in darkness, and you shall not allow them to regain the earth, lest the races of men go down in darkness, even as before the submersion of Pan. For which reason you shall establish a lordom and raise a sufficient army to shield the inhabitants of the earth, and you shall make Vishnu your Lord in my behalf. When it was known in Cetus, the heavenly place of Ahura, that 60 sub-gods with their hosts had affiliated with the Creator's kingdoms, general disobedience to Ahura was manifested by the remaining sub-gods, of whom there were yet more than 800. And these had within their dominions more than 2 billion angels, all slaves, who had light from no other heavenly place than the small precinct where they had been kept in drudgery for hundreds of years. The voice of the Creator came to God, saying, my son, take advantage of the seed of disaffection in Ahura's kingdom. Send an Otivan of great power throughout the heavenly kingdoms, and you shall put trumpeters in the Otivan, and they shall prophesy the dawn of Dan within 200 years. God perceived, and he and his workmen build an Otivan of great power. You see that? They build them chariots. Build them. And he provided trumpeters and sent them forth, saying to them, you should travel 10 years in the heavenly places around the whole earth, prophesying in less than 200 years. The Creator's Etherian hosts are coming. Prepare for the resurrection. His kingdoms are open for the weary. His lords and gods will give you rest. Ahura summoned his council of false gods, hoping they might invent a remedy to counteract so great a prophecy. And he and his council set 40 days and 40 nights in their heavenly capital, but there was no highlight among them, merely each one giving his opinion. But at the end of 40 days, Ahura resolved upon the following method to send a prophecy of his own. Accordingly, he had an oak vine built and sent trumpeters forth with these words: I, Ahura, only son of the all-nothing presence, personated in my very self, proclaimed from my all-highest heavenly judgment seat. Hear my words, O gods, and tremble. Hear me, O angels, and fall down. Hear me, O mortals, and bow down to my decrees. Behold, I sent my fire ship, prophesying that in less than 200 years I will come in the dawn of Dan, but you did not obey. You were defiant before me. Then I swore an oath against the whole world. You shall know my power. Then I came down out of my holy high heaven, and I have already come. Now is the dawn of Dan. I send my trumpeters first. After them come my lashers and enchainers, whose captain is Davis, whose god is Anramanus. I will have mine, and I will cast into everlasting torments drucks and drudges by the thousands and tens of thousands, or whose gods had been acquainted with him during the hundreds and hundreds of years, and they no longer trembled at his commandments. In their hearts they knew he could not do what he professed. They knew his prophecies were vain boastings. Indeed, his very trumpeters did not believe what they proclaimed. Boy, kingdom about to fall. And we get into the rest of it next time. Chapter 13 goes into the way that was prepared for Abram, Poe, Brahma, and Iwata. Eventually, your boy Ahura, his kingdom falls. His throne is stripped of his jewels, and he gets thrown into hell in a knot. And after so long, he eventually get delivered up out of that deal. He says, I just a bitch ass nigga. I can't get jiggy with this shit. And he started working hard, you know what I mean? Doing in the creators program. He started working hard, going hard. He did. So I definitely wanted to come on and share that with the fam, no doubt. We read Book of Divinity, chapter 8 through 12. We're gonna come back and get on 13 when I come back. You did. All right. All praises to the ever-present creator, the all in all, that always was, is, and ever shall be. You dig? Shout out to the haters, y'all jackers and naysayers. Shout out to all you fumigating mouth slanderous y'all Negroes. We love y'all too. Yeah. We ain't on a trip. All knowing we going to a place. But don't nobody know what we gonna be doing when we get there. Well, we all are on a trip, on a way to a place we call death. And what we gonna be doing when we get there? What happens? Ask yourself: is the spiritual system you a part of? Does it have a system in order? Does the spirit world have a system in order? You know? Or are you gonna see your loved ones after you die and cross over? What if you lost a child as an infant? Are you gonna see them again? All these things just got answered. Even down to the baptismal rites, the wedding ceremonies, the funeral processions. Yeah, all that is inspired by the angels dealing with the creator's kingdoms. All right. Of course, you got false gods inspiring too. We reading about one of them now. Wait till you hear how his kingdom fall. Y'all gonna be like, wow, that's crazy. That is crazy. All right, now that we see chapter 13 is about Poe, Abram, Brahma, and Iwata, we understand now we are going into the beginning of the next arc cycle, which is the arc of Speeder, 3953 BC. You see? So we just went from Fergopity and Zarathustra 9,000 years ago, starting in 7053 BC. We walked down 3,000 years, 3,000 plus, and now we in the arc of Speeder, 3953 BC. And here come Abraham and all them. You feel me? So YHWH'S is tight and beautiful because it gives you the heavenly histories and the corresponding earth histories at the same time. You dig? So always an honor to come on and chop it up with the fam, y'all. Believe that, know that. I ain't got to go as hard and grind today, so I'm gonna take advantage and relax. You know what I mean? Get with these short leggers. Sure, everybody cool, eat good, relax, enjoy myself. You know what I mean? I don't know if any of the other brothers or sisters going live later on today. I will be looking to see, because if y'all live, y'all already know I'm in the building. You know what I mean? Think about the flip side we got is rape, infant murder, and woman mutilation. Oh, and also fringes. You know, you got fringes on because a nigga went and picked up sticks on the Sabbath. And the Lord, Moses got with the Lord, and the Lord say, brick the nigga. And tell them niggas put fringes in the border of their garment so they can remember the law. So the fringes were inspired because somebody picked up sticks on the Sabbath day. And it was ordered to brick them. And here you go, IUIC, like, they don't talk to you unless you got on fringes. Wow, man. That was crazy. No, somebody mad. Somebody mad, boy. Hey, look, trust me. Trust me when I tell you they're going to be all right. I'm going to show a little bit of this and I'm going to get up out of here, all right? Something we all need to be looking at. All right, much love, y'all. Yeah, I see y'all in the chat. Bless up, bless up, bless up. I see you all in the chat. Nothing but love. Love and light over this way, man. Creative gang is outside. We outside. I can't say the same about everybody else, but we outside. I got something I want y'all to watch. Y'all can exit out whenever y'all ready. I'm going to let this play for about a few minutes. You know, chop it up. Let me know what y'all think.
Most people consider themselves animal lovers. We recognize them not as objects, but as complex beings with whom we share the planet, our lives, our homes. We take pleasure from their pleasure. We anguish over their pain, celebrating their intelligence and individuality as we welcome them into our families or revere them in their natural element. The thought of unnecessarily causing them harm or suffering is to many unbearable. So for those who feed, clothe, or entertain us, we choose to follow a narrative that minimizes or altogether eliminates their suffering. The picturesque family farm and the iconic loving farmer. A humane and painless end, a small price happily paid for a life well lived. An arrangement of mutual benefit. Hidden by this narrative, out of sight, out of mind, they cease to be individuals, most known only as livestock, faceless units of production in a system of incomprehensible scale, exempt from the cruelty laws that protect our companion animals. Their suffering, unseen and unheard, their value determined only by their usefulness to humankind, rationalized by a belief in our own superiority and the notion that might equals right, a notion that must be questioned.
In the 1960s, there were around 50,000 pig farms in Australia. Today, there are less than 1,400, and yet the total number of pigs bred and slaughtered for food has increased. As of 2015, 49 farms housed 60% of the country's total pig population. Most pigs bred for food begin life in a farrowing crate, a small pen with a central cage, designed to allow the piglets to feed from their mother, the sow, while preventing her from moving around. The frequency of stillborn or mummified piglets generally increases with each litter as the sows' bodies become less capable of handling the large litter sizes encouraged by the industry. 10 to 18% of piglets who are born alive won't make it until weaning age, succumbing to disease, starvation, or dehydration, or being accidentally crushed by their trapped mothers. Included in the death toll are the runts of the litter, who are considered economically unviable and killed by staff. Those who survive the first few days are mutilated without pain relief, their tails and teeth cut to reduce cannibalism, and pieces cut from their ears or tags punched in as a means of identification. They're taken from their mothers at 3 to 5 weeks of age. Most are destined for slaughter around 5 months later. As they age, they are moved into grower pens, crowded together in their own waste. Some female pigs are kept on to replace the sows in the breeding cycle, carefully selected for their perceived ability to produce large litters. Most pig farms utilize artificial insemination rather than natural mating, as it allows them to impregnate up to 30 to 40 female pigs from a single boar. Workers collect the semen by masturbating the boars, then insert it into the sows via a raised catheter known as a torque stork. Boars are still physically used to excite the females prior to insemination, but are prevented from actually mating. When confirmed pregnant, the sow is moved into one of two types of confined housing for the entirety of her 16-week gestation. Sow stalls are individual cages in which, like the farrowing crates, sows are only able to take 1 or 2 steps forward or backwards and are unable to turn around. While gradually being phased out by the majority of piggeries in Australia, sow stalls remain entirely legal with no penalties for keeping sows confined to them for longer than the voluntary limit of 5 days. This is similar to the apparent ban on sow stalls in the European Union, which actually allows up to 4 weeks in them per pregnancy. When given the choice, pigs will relieve themselves far away from where they sleep and eat. The extreme confinement takes a heavy psychological toll. The alternative, group housing, sees pregnant pigs packed into small concrete pens. A lack of space and stimuli can cause the pigs to become aggressive. Those who fall into the effluent system through gaps in the flooring are left to starve or drown in the river of waste. A week before they are due to give birth, they're moved into the farrowing crate cages, where they'll remain for the next 4 to 6 weeks. Unable to exercise, the sow's muscles will weaken to the point where she has difficulty standing up or lying down. To minimize muscle wastage, workers will force her to stand up at least once daily. She'll develop pressure sores from the hard surfaces, or prolapses and infections from the physical strain of repeated farrowing and poor conditions. Which can also lead to partial paralysis, preventing her from reaching the food and water at the front of her cage. Or can even lead to death in the cage. She'll watch helplessly as her piglets fall ill and die. Or get mutilated and abused by workers until they are taken away from her. She'll endure this cycle 4 times over 2 years before she's replaced and sent to slaughter, or killed and dumped on site. The term bred free range simply means that pigs are born outside in small huts, but then spend the rest of their lives in sheds, facing the same overcrowding, health, and behavioral issues as at any pig farm, whilst being kept knee-deep in their own waste. Capable of living 10 to 12 years, most pigs are killed at just 5 to 6 months old, packed in transportation trucks at the piggery and driven often long distances to the slaughterhouse without food, water, or protection from extreme heat or cold. At the slaughterhouse, they'll wait in small concrete or metal holding pens, typically overnight, still without food and with limited or no access to water. In the morning, they are forcefully herded to the kill floor, often with an electric prodder. The most common method of stunning and killing pigs in Australia, used at all major pig abattoirs and touted as the most humane and efficient option, is the carbon dioxide gas chamber. A system of rotating cages lowers the fully conscious pigs 2 or 3 at a time into the heavily concentrated gas, which begins to burn their eyes, nostrils, sinuses, throat, and lungs, while suffocating them. Lower concentrations of carbon dioxide would cause less pain and stress, but would take much longer to render the pigs unconscious, making it economically unviable. Sows are sent into the chamber gondolas one at a time. Because of their size, the gas is less effective, with some emerging partly conscious, in which case they may also be electrically stunned afterwards. Tipped out the other side of the chamber, the pigs' throats are cut and then they are bled out. Electrical stunning used at smaller slaughterhouses has a much higher chance of failure. Incorrect amperage, positioning of the stunner, or length of time applied, or failing to cut the throat quickly enough, can lead to the pig being merely paralyzed and unable to move, while still capable of feeling pain, or regaining consciousness while bleeding out. Blinking and rhythmic breathing are strong indicators of consciousness. One by one, they are picked off in front of each other. Captive bolt pistols are another option used by smaller slaughterhouses. The penetrative variety fire a rod through the skull of the animal to permanently damage their brain, preventing them from regaining consciousness, while non-penetrative bolt pistols deliver blunt force trauma much like a hammer. Effective stunning requires the gun to be angled in position at the correct part of the head, which is often difficult if the head is not restrained. Having witnessed their litter mates being killed before them, or being able to smell the blood on the floor, they are reluctant to enter the knockbox. The bolt gun is even less effective on larger pigs, like sows. For them, a rifle may be used as an alternative. In this case, accuracy is even more difficult. The bolt gun is even less effective on larger pigs, like sows. For them, a rifle may be used as an alternative. In this case, accuracy is even more difficult. After they've been bled out, pigs are dropped into tanks of scalding water in order to soften their skin and remove bristles and hair. Those who haven't been stunned and killed properly finally die by drowning. The waste products, the skin,
no way to escape. Disease spreads rapidly. An outbreak of avian influenza at a New South Wales free-range egg farm in 2013, believed to be contracted from wild ducks, led to the culling of over 400,000 farmed hens. Incubated and hatched over 31 days. The male and female chicks are sorted onto separate conveyor belts. Here at Australia's largest hatchery, they've been genetically modified to make the males a different color than the females, allowing for quick sorting. Unable to ever produce eggs themselves and a completely different breed to the chickens used for meat, the male chicks are considered waste products, as are any females perceived to be deformed or weak. They are sorted onto a separate conveyor belt from the healthy females in their first day of life and sent into an industrial blender called a macerator. This practice is legal and referred to as humane by the RSPCA. Smaller hatcheries may use carbon dioxide gas or simply suffocate the chicks in plastic bags. All commercial egg farms, caged, barn-laid, free-range, organic, RSPCA approved, involve the killing of male chicks to a total of roughly 12 million per year in Australia. Meanwhile, the healthy females continue on to painful debeaking machines. Hens are debeaked to minimize the harm they can do to each other in the confinement of egg farms. The chicks are then stacked in trays and trucked to pullet rearing farms, where they'll remain for 4 months until they begin laying eggs. A small number of males will be spared the macerator in order to serve with a selection of hens as parent birds, laying and fertilizing the eggs for the hatchery. The other hens are sent out to egg farms across the country. Around 2/3 of the 18 million layer hens at any given time in Australia are housed in battery cages. Each shed can contain up to 100,000 hens, with between 4 and 20 per cage, each afforded a space smaller than an A4 sheet of paper. They are unable to stretch their wings or express any natural behaviors such as dust bathing, perching, or foraging. Due to decades of genetic manipulation and selective breeding, they lay an egg almost every day for a total of up to 330 per year, compared to the 10 to 15 that a wild hen would lay. As they age, the poor environment and physical stress of frequent egg laying takes a toll on their health, indicated by the gradual loss of all of their feathers and an increasingly pale comb, suggesting anemia. Deaths inside the cages are common, and due to the size of the facilities can be easily missed for long periods of time, forcing the surviving hens to live on top of the rotting carcasses. Newer cage systems collect the feces onto conveyor belts beneath the cages, while older systems allow it to pile up underneath. Birds who manage to escape the cages are left to die in these manure pits. At 18 months of age, a After living in the cage for over a year, their egg production will have slowed significantly enough to be considered spent. They are depopulated, pulled from the cages and stuffed into crates, often resulting in bone fractures due to the rough handling.
How often do their bones break? Every time I've grabbed one, they're broken. Yeah? Yeah, every single time. Stop your wings and I'll break your other leg.
They are either gassed to death and then buried or rendered, or sent to the slaughterhouse and replaced by new 4-month-old hens. Up until 2016, there were no national standards on what can be claimed as free-range eggs. Now, free-range farms are capped at a maximum outdoor density of 10,000 hens per hectare, 1 per square meter, though they still spend most of their time packed together in large sheds. Chickens naturally form and live within a social hierarchy called a pecking order, but are only able to recognize around 100 other chickens. In sheds or paddocks with thousands of other birds, their inability to maintain this pecking order results in chaos. The weak birds are picked on with no way to escape. Disease spreads rapidly. An outbreak of avian influenza at a New South Wales free-range egg farm in 2013, believed to be contracted from wild ducks, led to the culling of over 400,000 farmed hens. Many of the larger free-range farms also have cage farms on the same property, with the eggs from both ending up in the same packing shed. A 2009 analysis of Egg Corporation data indicated that as many as 1 in 6 eggs sold as free-range were laid by caged or barn hens. As with caged farms, free-range hens are sent to slaughter from just 18 months of age, far short of their 10-year natural lifespan. At the slaughterhouse, the hens are shackled upside down on a moving line. They are lowered into a bath of electrified water to stun them prior to their throats being cut by an automated blade. But if they lift their heads, they can miss the stun bath, facing the blade fully conscious, and ultimately drowning in scalding water further down the process. The slaughtered hens largely end up in lower-grade chicken meat products, such as mince, or rendered into poultry meal for use in pet food or to be fed back to farm animals.
Chickens bred for meat, known as broilers, are a larger breed than egg layers, designed through human intervention to grow rapidly to massive sizes. Their short life begins at a broiler hatchery. While both the males and females are used by this industry, these hatcheries also use macerators. Or gas chambers, for weak or deformed birds who aren't expected to make it to slaughter weight. surviving day-old chicks are trucked to broiler grow-out farms. As of 2016, there were 530 broiler farms in Australia, together housing at any given time a total population of around 90 million birds. Each shed holds 40 to 60,000. Within their first week of life, a mortality rate of 4 to 6% is normal, equating to 1,600 to 3,600 dead chicks per shed, roughly 200 to 500 daily. The majority of these will have been found dead by workers. Others who seem weak or injured will be killed or tossed out alive.
I killed 465 in there. It's near on 1,000 birds I killed in 3 sheds. It's not just the sick ones I kill. I kill stuff that still runs, but I know it's no good. Sometimes I don't tell them properly. But all I do is I just grab them on the back of the neck. You know you've done it right because there's no cheek. Neck's broken. Yeah. You can't chirp. So yeah, you know you've done it right when you can't chirp.
As they grow, they quickly fill out the available space in the shed, living amongst a build-up of their own feces. The mortality rate slows, but deaths are still a regular occurrence. Not far from the sheds, the bodies are piled up and composted. Selective breeding, lack of exercise due to overcrowding, artificial lighting, and the heavy use of antibiotics which enhance feed absorption have resulted in modern broiler chickens reaching a slaughter-ready weight of 3 kilograms in just 35 days, a dramatic increase from a natural peak of 2 kilograms in 96 days. Their bodies have great difficulty handling this extreme physical pressure, making skeletal, cardiac, and metabolic disorders common. Of those who make it to the slaughterhouse, 90% have a detectable abnormal gait. The sheds are not cleaned for the entire 5 to 7 week cycle, causing a high concentration of ammonia, which can irritate and burn their skin and impede their respiratory system.
Mic check, mic check. 1 2 1 2. Yeah, I want to show that real quick, y'all. That's the documentary called Dominion. Let me go ahead and share it up in the chat for y'all. You know what I mean? For anybody still chewing on loin meat, animal sandwiches, just a little something to put out there to inspire you to do better. That's it. You know what I mean? Look what all that got to go through just for you to so-called get your taste buds satisfied. You know what I mean? A lot of murder. A lot of horrendous acts. I want to show that real quick. That's the link right there. Right on for tapping in with your brother Malachi Maccabee today. Right on tapping in with your brother. Much love. All praises to the ever-present creator. The all in all, the always was, is, and never shall be. Shout out to all the brothers and sisters who came bearing witness to the line of light of the ever-present creator from in today's time all the way back to whenever man started recording each thing, man. Nothing but love, you dig? I salute you all in the love and light of the ever-present Yahweh. Y'all stand strong out here. Pray for me as I continue to pray for y'all. And you know, hey, understand and tell the difference. It's either low-hanging fruit, slow gas, or it's that light. You know what that light is. You know, and even if you don't agree with what we're saying, at least you're becoming more and more conscious and aware of what's going to be happening where you get to where we all going. You dig? That's the whole point. So abundant blessings. Love all y'all indeed and true. Bless up. You did. Create a gang. You bring them. We raise them. Shout out to the haters, jaw jackers and naysayers. Yeah. We love y'all too. You slanderous jaw, millie mouth, fumigating at the mouth, Nick Rose. Hey, just know your fingers ain't broke. And just know, hey, we don't want you. We want you God, nigga. We here to body the God. You see, we sure hit the God and everything get jittery. That's what we're here to do. We're here to hit the God. You dig? So abundant blessings, man. Create a gang. You bring them, we raise them. Till the next time, family. Bless up.